Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Easily one of the most fascinating teams this offseason in the NFL, Pearl, has got to be the San Francisco 49ers. Made an interesting move yesterday. Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good.
Did anyone offer you an extra $4 million a year last night? Well, like Christian McCaffrey got yesterday with a sort of out of nowhere contract extension and salary bump.
Well, was it out of nowhere? We said 2 weeks ago that he missed OTAs. Mr. Tryhard guy, Christian McCaffrey, not going to OTAs. That means a lot because he's like reportedly Mr. OTA. Like the guy comes out to OTAs at 100%. Like that was a mini holdout.
I know, but it was weird because Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, wouldn't tell us whether or not this actually was a contract dispute. Didn't put his head in the sand. Like, where's McCaffrey? I have no idea.
Well, Shanahan doesn't know the overtime rules. He doesn't know the contract situations.
Oh, that hurts.
Why would what was Shanahan supposed to say? But this was a holdout. He's like Brandon Aiyuk, not happy with his contract. So you got to keep your stars happy, Maggie.
And how many years in a row now have we had something like this with the 49ers? Debo, Nick Bosa. Now you had the twin issues with clearly Christian McCaffrey, who did get a raise yesterday, and then also with Brandon Aiyuk. It feels like every single offseason they're dealing with this. That's not generally normal.
Well, but what's the downside? I think Bosa had a slow start last year, but I mean, they're getting deep into the playoffs every year, so whatever they're doing is working, right?
You could say and justify the means on this one, but can I talk about process for a second?
Sure.
And this is with the San Francisco 49ers and Christian McCaffrey just sort of, all right, he gets a $38 million of new money. He had 2 years and $24 million remaining, so he was already the highest paid running back in the league at $16 million. Now he gets bumped up to $19 million. Good for you. I'm not saying he's not important. I argued last season, I thought he was the MVP, not Purdy of the team. You and I went around and around about that all year. My question for the 49ers is you clearly have someone who's upset in Brandon Aiyuk, and I know that's a much bigger chunk of change to be arguing over or negotiating over. But who were they negotiating against when it comes to Christian McCaffrey? You already had the highest paid guy, and you just made him more highly paid in a position that's not getting paid right now at an age where guys generally aren't getting paid anymore. Another semi-big bite of the apple at 28 years old, which he's going to turn on Friday. So my question is, were you that worried about keeping Christian McCaffrey happy? Because to me, he doesn't seem like a guy who would, hold out, hold it against you, make a big fuss, demand a trade. I probably would have sat on this if I were the 49ers. I just don't understand why they felt like they had to do this now.
But why would you think he wouldn't hold out?
I don't know. Maybe he would. You think he'd sit out for a whole season, Le'Veon Bell style? I don't think
he'd hold. No, but I do think he would hold out of minicamp and maybe training camp.
But they didn't care that Nick Bosa did that all last year. Like the 49ers have already shown you they have an appetite for this.
Right, and they ended up paying Nick Bosa tons of money.
I know, so call his bluff. Like that's
they called Bosa's bluff and ended up making him the highest paid non-quarterback.
I know, but they were not afraid to get uncomfortable with that. And I would say Nick Bosa, we can argue who's more important to the franchise. We can have that debate if you'd like, but I'm just curious the 49ers. I know it wasn't tons of money, but why they were willing to pony up anything at all. Like why did you feel like you had to make a guy who was already the highest paid in his position even more highly paid? Like where, why? That's what no one can answer for me. It doesn't have an impact. I don't know. Wow. This is a cash-strapped team who's already has to count every penny because they have to save up for Brock Purdy for next year. And they're like, all right, we'll just give him a raise for the hell of it.
Well, this is the year to spend. I mean, listen, they freed up some money this year. They did a signing bonus. Yeah. So, and it's just, again, it's a marginal deal. Like, we're talking, what, did you say $4 million? It's like $4 million a year more. Right. So, and Brandon Aiyuk wants $30 million a year. So this is pocket change. And I understand you're probably right about the process, but it still doesn't ring true because he is their best player. He's the tone setter on this team. Rewarding him with a little extra money seems like no big deal. In fact, it seems like a good idea because he is the MVP of the team. There's like, even I could argue that Brock Purdy is a better NFL MVP candidate, but there's no doubt who the leader of that team is. It's on offense. It's obviously Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, but Debo's important, and I think Ayuk's important, and I think Trent Williams is important. I think that's the thing about Kyle Shanahan. It's definitely a running, zone run team, whatever you want to call it, but they're saying McCaffrey is also a receiver too, and he does so much.
One of the cheapest receivers in the NFL.
Okay, but so here's there's a site called Spotrac. A lot of professionals use it because it's got some really great information about contracts. Okay, that's fine. They wrote an article about this. And this was the final line that these real heady contract front office nerds came up with. But the single most important takeaway from this contract extension is that it keeps one of the most dynamic weapons in NFL history happy and locked in for 2 more seasons. Happy? Well, he should be happy already. He's the highest paid, and nobody is paying running backs / receivers. Whatever you want to say about McCaffrey, it's not like he was out here making $800,000, which is awesome for anyone in real life, but for him would have been underpaid. Like, he still was at the top of the market. So, again, I just didn't get it, and maybe that's me. I know that it freed up some cap space for this year. They restructure and all that. I didn't know who they were negotiating against, and I didn't understand why it's important to keep him happy when the team is very willing to let everyone else squirm. It's
so funny, though. If you were the head executive of the San Francisco 49ers, you would not do this? Is that what you're saying?
You have said that wide receiver is the new running back, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't think you should be paying guys who are wide receivers this big money,
right,
and you're not even sure about Brandon Aiyuk. What do you say to me all the time about running backs, especially ones who are reaching their late 20s? It's been great for McCaffrey that he's had great health for the last 2 seasons, right? He's played basically the entire year. But what happened the 2 seasons before that? On, off the field. Right. I mean, are you assured, too, that a guy with this type of injury history, maybe say, well, Maggie stayed healthy for 2 years in a row, so now he's gotten past it. Maybe. I don't know if I'm willing to give a raise on that.
It'd just be weird. It would be weird to have a locker room where your MVP is getting paid 1/3 of your number 2 wide receiver. It just, everything you're saying makes perfect sense. And I actually like your take. It's against the grain because nobody in the entire NFL world has a problem with this contract except for Maggie Gray.
I was like, fuming yesterday. What is going on here?
Also, too, you were like, what does this say to Brandon Aiyuk? I think Brandon Aiyuk's psyched about this deal. It's like, ooh, McCaffrey's getting that money. I'm going to get paid. The other thing, too, is that there's a timing. The Niners have to go all in right now because you're right. The Purdy money is going to hit hard.
But they were already in on McCaffrey. They traded for him when he had the highest contract for a running back, and they took that on. That was in.
And he delivered easily.
That's
actually over-delivered, which is crazy. So he's still probably underpaid. And, you're telling me at $19 million a year, you have Christian McCaffrey in that offense, and you have Brandon Aiyuk is going to get $29 million a year. Brandon Aiyuk could come or go. Everyone knows that has minimal impact on this offense. I'm sorry. There's one guy they need. So, you keep him happy. And, and he's obviously, I think the coach is like, oh, that guy's a tone setter. He's our Tom Brady. I know that sounds stupid, but I heard Shanahan and Lynch talk about this deal. It's like, it all starts with McCaffrey. Like, he's the leader. So you pay him a little extra money. This is not hurting anybody. This is not hurting anything. Not the Brock Purdy money, not the Brandon Aiyuk money. I think keeping him happy makes sense. Like, you don't want Christian McCaffrey holding out if you're the Niners. That would be bad. Like, that's the one thing. Brandon Aiyuk holding out, okay, I get it. I mean, wide receivers want to get paid. It's totally different. Like, Brandon Aiyuk is a nice piece. He's a good receiver. He's definitely not Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, let's hear from McCaffrey. This is yesterday. He said he's pleased to have this contract dispute, which, again, we barely knew was going on behind the scenes. Got a little glimpse, but no one would confirm it. So here's McCaffrey. He's excited, obviously.
Business is business. It's part of this game. Both sides were mutually very respectful the whole time, and just proud and happy that we got something done.
Okay. I would say Brandon Aiyuk was a lot happier when he saw the Justin Jefferson contract or the Amon-Ra St. Brown contract come in than maybe the Christian McCaffrey extension, because now you're just dividing up the pie and there's just a little bit less to be divided up. Now, here's my thing about this, and this is the greater issue, I think, with the San Francisco 49ers. It's great that everyone wants to get paid, and I'm never going to begrudge somebody, and the market's the market, and you're up when you're up and all that. You're so devastatingly close to a Super Bowl. How about the guys at the top of the market, like McCaffrey? You're already at the top of the market. You're the guy with the contract dispute. You've got a team that is so close. The pressure is building and building and building. And now it's like, does it seem like Super Bowl is the number one thing on everyone's mind right now? Because to me, it feels like the biggest thing coming out of the 49ers is who's getting paid what when. If I'm a fan of the 49ers, I'm like, what are we doing to get back to the Super Bowl and actually freaking win it this time? Because it's got to be so frustrating for that fan base to be coming so devastatingly close and then fall short.
Yeah, I again, that sounds good in theory, but what reality does it have anything to do with what happens in September 15th for these contract negotiations?
I'm just wondering, why does everyone, we got to keep this person happy. We got to keep them happy.
Like who?
Well, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
They feel like they keep him happy.
You got to keep your best player happy.
Why aren't you just happy? I'm not saying you should be not getting money if you have, but again, McCaffrey's already at the top of the food chain for his position. What about hey, we're devastated that we lost the Super Bowl, and instead of contract quibbling, this is actually more about everyone showing up, being there, being invested, being engaged. I don't know, Pearl.
Wait,
I'm a little nervous about this.
This is not 1990s college football. What are you talking about? They're professional men out there. They 100%. The fact that they didn't win the Super Bowl, they should be like, you know what? Pay me less than I deserve because I want to win a Super Bowl. Nobody's going to do that. That'd be crazy. You're saying they should take less because they didn't win a Super Bowl?
I'm not saying they should take less. I'm saying McCaffrey's already at the top of the market.
Right.
Why he felt like he was in a contract dispute where you're saying, they wanted to keep him happy.
You're saying he shouldn't try and maximize his contract because they didn't win the Super Bowl? That's doesn't really ring true. He's a professional athlete. He's getting paid for what he's doing.
No. This is why I'm saying if I were the organization, I'd call his bluff. Right. Because why am I paying you more when you are already at the top? I get it when guys are underpaid.
Right. Well, they think he's underpaid.
By what metric?
Just because he's the most valuable. He's different than other running backs because he's a multi-purpose guy, and he's basically the third cheapest wide receiver in the entire NFL now. You keep talking about Christian McCaffrey like he's a running back. I will admit he's not a running back. Right. He's just so much more. And adding $4 million a year over the next 2 years is such a marginal thing to keep the situation. If you were the head of the Niners and you refused to do this, this would be, to me, kind of team malpractice because it's so easy for them to do this. There's really no skin off their back to do this. Why not just get this out of the way? You have McCaffrey. You have so much versatility with him too. Now, he's definitely he's not going to complain. They basically get 2 or 3 more years of him and then he's gone with no problem. Why not just do this? It doesn't hurt the team. It doesn't even really hurt their chance of signing Aiyuk because they free up more cap space. This was an easy little move that I think they had to do. Now they have many headaches in this organization. You pointed out yourself. Now there's one less. Why not get rid of one headache and focus on a Super Bowl?
I just don't understand why McCaffrey would have been a headache for them at all. But that's me. 855-212-4227. How you feeling about the 49ers? 49er fans. We're out of the Bay Area, up and down Northern California, 49er fans all over this great country. And they're an interesting team because, you just had this happen with your Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm sorry to bring up a painful memory, but you know how hard it is to get back to the Super Bowl after you've been there and after you've lost. It's hard when you get back after you've won. It's rare that we had the repeat champion. And so you're this close and you're in overtime and you lose. Now you come back. Again, they're favored in every game. There's no reason why this shouldn't be a juggernaut team, but you and I both know the NFL is unpredictable like that, and just because you're a good team doesn't mean you're getting that opportunity.
Well, let me ask you this then. Yeah. So do you pay $30 million to Brandon Aiyuk?
I don't think they want to do that.
So you just said everything is about winning the Super Bowl. You're saying, no, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
I would have paid Aiyuk. I've said this from the beginning.
You would have. Okay, so you would have gone all in on what is a bad contract with Aiyuk, but you don't want to do a little more for what you're now calling a bad contract with McCaffrey.
Well, I didn't think you needed to pay McCaffrey more because he was already the highest paid. Aiyuk is up. He was your draft pick. Right. He's a first round pick. He has delivered for you. He's coming off of an all pro season. I think he's not going to go away. I think he's still a really good receiver, and he's not saying he wants to reset the market. If you listen to everything Brandon Aiyuk's saying, he actually just wants a Amon-Ra St. Brown money.
Right.
So he's not asking to, totally blow and obliterate and, whatever Justin Jefferson's getting. And I think that's reasonable.
I don't know. It feels like you're picking and choosing where to be rational because honestly, the Aiyuk contract could end up hurting the team a lot more. The question is, I think the question is, do you go all in this year? Do you try and get the money to Aiyuk and have everybody happy and on the field and playing? But this money for McCaffrey is nothing. I feel like the Aiyuk money is risky. If you're going to pay him, if you're going to pay Debo and Aiyuk this much money, at some point one of them's got to go, and you're going to have a messy situation. And also, you just can't have. You're right. You can't have all these players, so someone's got to go.
Okay, and we're talking about the 49ers now. The messy situation is one that they're creating. No.
No, I mean, I think that they're being rational. They're like, we have this crazy versatile offense. Do we really need to pay high end for 2 wide receivers? It's a very legitimate team building question.
No, it's fine, and you can ask that, but they also dangled him in trade talks. It happened all off season.
And the fact that nobody wanted to really give up a first rounder, it seemed, for him says something to me too.
Well, fine, but it would be a first rounder, and then you have to pay him on top of it. So
they did that with Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. So Aiyuk is not that.
He might not be, but he's also not asking for that money. He's asking for Amon-Ra St. Brown money, right? Which is, again, not the top of the market. With Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams reset the market when they signed their deals. So I don't know.
By the way, funny, it is actually very close to Devontae Adams. I think it's a little more than Devontae Adams.
Well, but that's the nature of things. No. At the time, we're talking about.
Yeah, 2 years ago. You're right. No, I know what you mean. But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of. They'll be paying probably more than any team at wide receiver in the league, I would imagine.
It's also just interesting. Everyone's got to keep McCaffrey, who seems like he's not a problem. I don't know if he's outwardly ever been a problem on any organization he's ever been to. We got to
held out.
We just got to, apparently, make sure we got to keep McCaffrey healthy, but we will dangle everybody in trade talks. We'll have Debo in trade talks. We'll dangle Aiyuk in trade talks. We don't give a flying you-know-what about that, but we got to make McCaffrey happy.
They certainly did not dangle Nick Bosa.
Well, that'd be silly. 855-212-4227.
McCaffrey and Bosa are way different conversations. I think Purdy's a different conversation. You could call John Lynch tomorrow and say, I'll give you 2 first rounders for Brock Purdy. He said, no, thank you.
No, Purdy is.
So you're just saying that they're not all the same situation. You have to acknowledge that.
855-212-4227. All right, that's the number to get involved. You want to talk about the 49ers and what you're seeing here. How do you think this offseason's going for San Francisco? And were you surprised, and did you like the new contract for Christian McCaffrey? And who are they negotiating against? Themselves. 855-212-4227. So much to do today. Got some show news. Got some more football news. Got a great debate today. It's Wednesday. Nico's first great debate. 855-212-4227. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. If Maggie ever gets rich and buys a football team, don't be a star player for her. She won't give Christian McCaffrey $4 million extra. $4 million.
I'm already paid him 16. How
$4
much more do
million.
you need?
They use that much on equipment in teams. Like Brandon Aiyuk wants, I don't know, 40 times that much. So I think it's a marginal deal that is actually going to be good. It frees up a little cap space this year, gives them tons of flexibility. I've decided I have a new tact on contracts, Maggie. I don't care how much money there is as long as it's short. Just keep it short,
right?
And you're going to be fine because
then you'll never play for the Cowboys.
You limit the amount of mistakes you can make if you do not sign like 8-year deals with marginal guys. You can sign Patrick Mahomes for the next 2 decades.
Yeah.
But Christian McCaffrey, this is 2 years. It's not that much money. It's not going to kill this team.
Okay, but I'm just talking about he was a guy who was already at the top. He was the top receiver. So why add more when he already set the bar?
Top running back, yeah.
Running back, excuse me. He already was a top running back. So why did you have to pay him more? I'm not saying he's not worth whatever he can get. I just didn't understand the process of this. And honestly, the wide receiver contracts aren't that long. You're talking about Brandon Aiyuk, and I know it'd be a lot of money, but we're talking about 1 year left on his rookie deal, the 5th year, and then you're talking about another 4 years after that. It's a guy who's in his prime. This is not going to bankrupt you.
Well, the problem is you have to pay Debo and Aiyuk, and I don't think you can do that. And Kittle probably makes some money. I mean, he's a tight end, so he gets less. And there's just a lot of mouths to feed in San Francisco. So I think Aiyuk. So
why feed someone who's full?
Our buddy Mike Silver, who's covered the NFL, former Sports Illustrated NFL writer, said that at a certain point that if Aiyuk comes back this year, they're going to have Aiyuk and Debo are going to be quietly vying for that one salary spot. So
but Debo already got it.
Yeah, but next year. So Aiyuk is under contract this year. So assume he plays. Then it's either Aiyuk or Debo. One survives. And people are laughing because he described it as a Hunger Game. And nobody wants to go into a Hunger Game situation with Debo Samuel because he will win that Hunger Game.
He will. And I ask you again, for the fans out there who just want to see their team win a Super Bowl, do you want your 2 wide receivers doing Hunger Games style, fighting it out? That's not exactly like a harmony.
So you're saying, harmony, keep him happy, but you don't want to keep Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL, happy?
No, they're willing to let 2 wide receivers do Hunger Games.
Yes.
Yet McCaffrey, who's already the highest paid running back, needs more money.
Well,
I don't get it.
Well, here's one thing. McCaffrey is still going to give 100% effort because he's the NFL's try-hard guy. There's no doubt.
So will Debo.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, wide receivers, what's wrong with having these wide receivers compete? Like, that sounds good to me.
Let's go to the phones. Our pal Leland is in Sacramento and a big 49er fan. Good morning, Leland. How you feeling about what's going on with your 49ers?
Hey, good morning, Maggie and Perloff. Appreciate the commentary analysis, and I'm just tickled pink that your show, the top of your show, is on the 49ers. It can't get any better.
What do you think about your team?
I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because Brandon Aiyuk is not on the field, and I'm wondering what they're going to ultimately do with this kid, because the brass could have gotten things done and had him on the field, but he's not there, and I'm wondering what kind of message are they saying, because they've got Pearsall now on the team, and all the reports that I read, this kid's not at Aiyuk's level yet, but he's getting there, and they're saying that Brock Purdy and Pearsall are off the side field doing a lot of reps, and they're building chemistry. I'm wondering if they're going to replace Aiyuk.
Leland,
Just a thought.
This is how, it's a great call. Thank you for making it. This is how teams apply pressure to people who are holding out. Maybe Pearsall and Brock Purdy are having this amazing chemistry, but if I were trying to play hardball with one of my players and I wanted them to show up and I wanted them to take my offer, I would also be floating those things to the media. And maybe it's true. I don't know. I didn't see that footage, but I would be leaking that stuff too. Hey, the rookie looks great.
No. There's no need to leak. You have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk at wide receiver, and you drafted a receiver in the first round. There's no
message
leaking.
Sent.
Message sent times 1,000. I mean, a receiver who happens to do the same things as Brandon Aiyuk, a route runner, a quote-unquote route runner. Yeah, I mean, the message was sent. I don't care. And also all the, those videos of mini camps that go around the internet and like guys doing crazy. The slow-mo videos of Ricky Pearsall are pretty sweet, Maggie.
Yeah, so the social team's giving him all the love, too.
Yeah. You cannot discount how good that dude looks. And then I went back and looked at some college highlights of that guy. The guy he's a very Odell Beckham one-handed catch guy. This is all going to work out great.
855-212-4227. All right, so that's a little what's going on with the 49ers. For everything else that's happening in the world of sports, we turn to Andrew Bogusch.
Guys, good morning. All the headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. It is a fall from grace not seen in a long time. The Edmonton Oilers had universal support after that lovely, generous, bouncy gift from that female fan during the Stars series. And then their head coach went and said this when asked about the Panthers having more Stanley Cup experience.
I don't know how much experience is, beneficial. You can ask the Buffalo Bills how important Super Bowl experience is.
Wow. Good morning, Chris Knobloch.
You're dead to me. The whole franchise, you're dead to me.
What about Canada as a whole? Just the whole country.
I love Canada. It's close to Buffalo. We had a good relationship with Canada. Lots of Bills fans in Canada. Dead to me. You are now looking at the biggest Florida Panther fan on planet Earth. I've watched about 5 games of theirs this year, but I will be intimately familiar with all the inner workings of that team by noon today.
Yeah.
They're not in Miami, don't forget.
That's Sunrise, Florida, baby.
There you go.
And if they win a Stanley Cup, I want to be at the freaking parade.
Name 2 players on the Florida Panthers.
No. Bobrovsky. And this is
Bob and Rovsky.
Chuck.
The fact that Chuck Knobloch is the coach of the Oilers is too.
Yeah, now who's the professor? I can't believe it. How dare you? How dare you bring that up?
It's such a great point. Oh my God. It changed my entire thinking about not only that, but the NBA Finals, every Finals from now on, I'm going to think about that line. Like, yeah, having been there before doesn't do anything.
You play the Cowboys in the 90s and see how it goes. You play against that incredible offense. Play against that amazing defense. You coach against Jimmy Johnson. It's not easy, man. All right?
Well, I think the point is
coach against Bill Parcells.
You also lost to Hostetler, too.
But. I mean, anybody can.
Parcells and Otis Anderson, if you want to be real about it.
If you could walk and chew gum, you could have gotten out of the AFC in the late 80s and 90s. It's like the Eastern Conference in the NBA right now. They stunk. I mean, they used to be the Broncos got out of that AFC and just got demolished. Then the Bills took that turn. It's like LeBron's getting to the finals every year. Sometimes conferences stink and the team gets there.
Yeah, because there wasn't anybody named Dan Marino who happened to be playing in their same division or anything like that.
Oh, and he made so many Super Bowls.
I'm just saying that you're saying that that it was an easy run.
Was
No, they
a
were making Super Bowls because the Bills were better.
They were getting out of the JV conference for sure.
That is such horse.
No, you know that's true. How do you think they made 4 straight Super Bowls and lost 4 straight Super Bowls?
Because they were a good team. That's why everyone's in the Hall of Fame, even though they kept losing.
They were good, but they were in the right conference. Like very LeBron-like.
No. And I don't appreciate Chris Knobloch. A hex on you, sir. You want to bring up the Buffalo Bills? Like, how did it work out for them in some kind of quip? I mean, I hope you suffer their fate. And then let's see.
I don't know his background, but he said it. When you watch him say it, he liked saying it. Like
he thought he had
roots for the Dolphins or something.
He's
or Patriots.
Is he a Dolphin fan?
He thought this was a one-timer in the net, just burying this in the back of the net. No. I'm sorry, sir. Now all of Western New York is going to be rooting against you. So
he must have told that to his team. Because to have that line just ready to go, that's something he clearly, as he's trying to figure out how to psych his team up, saying, hey, don't worry about the fact that they've been here before.
Yeah, and I'm sure most of his team was probably born around, I don't know, the year 2000. Like, they don't know this.
Half of them
it's like telling Nico.
Well, half of them are probably from Russia. They're probably like, what's a Buffalo Bill?
Yeah, right. I don't know. The Bills are a very international team. No,
All right,
definitely not.
If you're a neutral fan, so now you are the only neutral fan who's in on the Isn't every neutral fan in on the Oilers?
Yeah, because some woman showed her you-know-what.
No, they have they have the one-star hockey knees, and you are just
and little. You can't discount the boobs.
It definitely brought in the casual fan.
But this little quip by the coach,
tiebreaker.
You're going to jump off the big bandwagon just because of one little line about the Bills? Listen, I mean, you don't want to see McJesus do his thing?
Listen, you have taught me that I can be a fan of a player and not be a fan of a team. That is the Andrew Perloff method, so I can watch McDavid, but I sure as heck ain't rooting for him now.
But
I'm not rooting for the Oilers.
I respect Maggie for this take. I respect it.
But it's a stretch.
Bring up a painful memory to use as bulletin board material to try to hype up your team. How about just coach him? How about that?
No, if he said something like that about one of my teams, which he could say about all of them, I would say the same thing.
Dead to me.
He's also from Saskatchewan, Canada, so I don't know how he would be a Miami Dolphins fan.
It's a fair point.
Nico, just hang out here a little longer. You'll meet all the people from New Jersey who are Raiders fans. I mean, none of it makes sense.
I mean, he's Rough Riders, live or die. I mean, there's no doubt. That being said, I mean, you can't sit here and root for the Florida Panthers.
I
really?
am
Watcher.
Sunrise, Florida. You don't want to.
I'm Panthers. Whatever. I don't even know what they do.
They throw rats on the ice, plastic rats. You can do that.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan, but that's fine. I'm willing to overlook it because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So how about that? And I'm now an enemy more of the Oilers head coach, Chris Knobloch. You, dude. You. Not cool. Didn't like it, didn't appreciate it.
Chris with a K. We should get to that at some point, too. You can't do that. You can't do KRIS.
Yeah, I mean, it's really his parents' fault.
Still, you can fix it. He could just say, guys, I'm going to go CH.
Well, two of the largest men I know have spelled their name that way. Both of them, Chris Jenkins. So I'm going to leave that alone.
Chris Jenkins.
I'll say them, too.
Funny story about Chris Jenkins, the other one, the football one. Always a rumor, smoked Newports.
That doesn't surprise
football.
me. That doesn't surprise me.
That's old school. Anyway, thank you for bringing that up.
Well, here's hoping that Joe Mazzulla and or Jason Kidd take shots at Perloff in Philly before the NBA Finals begin tomorrow night in Boston. Kristaps Porzingis said yesterday he plans to return from his calf injury, but is not sure if that leg is 100% yet. Ipe Mizuhara pleaded guilty to tax and bank fraud yesterday in connection to stealing money from Shohei Ohtani. He's facing 33 years in jail when sentenced in late October. MLB considers the matter closed now. Ohtani and his Dodgers took a 1-0 loss in Pittsburgh last night. Pirates rookie righty Jared Jones threw 6 scoreless against the team he grew up rooting for.
Nerves can get to me pretty easily, but just settling back and I got a little wild a little bit, but just keeping the nerves down and just going out there and competing. 3
relievers finished off the 5-hitter. The Diamondback win streak.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have a question about Ipe. So, Shohei's interpreter pleaded guilty to everything. It was him. He was the one. It was all his fault. And now he's going to go to jail for a long time. Like at a sentencing, I think people write letters on behalf of you to say, this person wasn't really a bad guy. They just really got caught up in a bad situation or he's an addict or whatever. Please take it easy on him. Can you call Shohei for a reference letter there?
No, you cannot call Shohei. I feel like when you cross a friend, that's like the ultimate betrayal.
Was he a good interpreter though? That probably doesn't matter at this point.
Although that's the guy you want though. You want the victim to be like, hey, as bad as it was, like, I've forgiven him.
And maybe somebody shows, we don't know about Shohei. Maybe he's like, shows a lot of grace. Maybe he still feels some kind of loyalty. Maybe feels bad for him. If Shohei wrote a letter to the judge, do you think that does anything?
Well, I don't know.
Especially if he's taking the fall for Shohei.
Oh, I think it would.
I saw the MLB statement. They said Shohei Ohtani is clearly a fraud victim. Like, he's the guy who got victimized.
Oh, no, but he's also closest to the situation. He and Ipe were like brothers, right? They're super tight.
But the victim wouldn't usually send a statement to the judge. Like, he's the number one guy.
I don't know. I mean, it's a victim.
I will tell you right now that is not happening. By the way, I have a question. Yes. Be honest, Maggie. Are you a little upset that the whole
case
Shohei
is closed?
Yeah. I feel like your energy towards this Ipe Shohei thing, it feels like it's tapping into your little JFK conspiracy theory. You really want to dig into this guy, this thing.
No, it's not that I'm not happy. Like, I'm glad for everyone that they got to the bottom of it. But am I a little like? I think the first instinct was the right one, which was, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, and do we really know everything? We definitely know that Shohei now is 100% taking the fall. This thing got adjudicated very fast.
Yeah, what was the government's role in this? The deep state?
I'm telling you, man, I got some literature in my car that will change your life.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wait, you have literature in your car right now? Are you becoming like a hoarder? Are you going to live on the sidewalk soon?
No. Anybody who says they have literature is definitely into conspiracy theories.
I have some pamphlets.
Just something innocent. It's just a one sheet. Just make you think. I'm just asking questions.
I just
Chris
read.
Knobloch made a good point.
It's funny. I was reading the MLB statement yesterday. They're very specific. Like, there is nothing to see here. I'm like, ooh, Maggie's not going to like that.
No, the more you protest, the more it makes me want to dig.
I was thinking Rob Manfred's trying to quiet Maggie, and it ain't going to work.
No, what they should have done if they want to throw people like me off the scent is keep the investigation open forever. Then I'd be way less suspicious. The fact they closed it and they want to basically Indiana Jones this thing where they just push the file into a big warehouse and the Ark of the Covenant's in some kind of box, if anyone gets that reference.
Yeah, they always had a secret weapon in this entire case, is the fact that the two guys spoke Japanese, so they could easily throw anybody off at Eddie's. So, like, you are never going to be able to dive into the actual documentation because they can just go into Japanese, and I don't think you know any Japanese.
I don't. What's Japanese for I'm a patsy? I mean, did he say that on the way to the courthouse?
Yeah. I
all
think
my JFK people?
I think it's going to be hard for you to really dig in the documents here and the text.
I've got some people in my corner on this one.
Rosetta Stone? Those are people?
Yeah.
Have you built like a murder board yet with pictures and strings
all
and
up here,
thumbtacks?
Bogusch, just all upstairs.
Oh, interesting.
I don't even need a board. I got all the web of lies is right up here.
Sorry, can we go back to one moment of this whole scandal when Ipe apparently in Korea gets the whole team together in the clubhouse and explains to them that he's been ripping off Shohei, and it's the first time Shohei's ever heard it with the rest of his team.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's like, and he doesn't understand English, but some of that got through.
And he's just sitting there like, wait, what? This is what we're all meeting about? I thought we were talking about, like, base stealing strategy. You did what? When? What?
And then he's like, well, let's not talk about it here. Let's talk about it at the hotel. And he's like, do. All right, let's go back to the hotel. Did you steal $17 million from me or did you not? Apparently that was hard. And he was talking to the LA Times before he even talked to the Shohei.
Yeah, just the language barrier just made the whole thing harder for people to understand. I mean, that was their out the entire time.
I know, and you're asking why I'm still suspicious.
Like, imagine, like, if it will never happen, but like that would be like, Perloff walking in one day being like, yeah, Maggie, just want to let you know, I stole on the show. I stole $300 from you yesterday, and we'll talk about it after the show, okay? And you're like, wait, what?
But believe me,
back to break.
You would have wanted to give it to me.
Yeah. Well, one thing about it, our job is there's no money to really.
There's no money to
There's
steal.
no money to. What's that word when you slowly steal from your company?
Pete's doing it, but he's not here to tell you about it.
Oh, you quiet quit?
No. When you're stealing
money.
Embezzle? Yeah. There's no money to embezzle around here. So
like
Pete's embezzled $77 in 12 years.
We're just taking pennies from the drawer.
There's like 3 office supplies in this entire building. Like, you can't even steal office supplies. In fact, you can't even steal coffee pods. There's nothing to steal
You're
here.
Right. There's nothing to take.
We don't have
There's
paper.
Nothing.
There's no pens. There's
Ipe would have no idea what to do here. There's nobody to rip off.
We have old computers, although there is a variety box of like seasonings and marinades. So if you've got a barbecue coming up, today's your lucky day. Otherwise, you got nothing.
One nice spice rubs from your ribs, you're all good.
I shouldn't say this. I feel like Did they really? When I got here, there was this weird coffee machine that didn't have a Keurig machine with the normal pods where you put it in and it makes one go. Instead of a Keurig, they had like this off-brand like South Korean coffee machine that you could only get the pods from a certain.
Keurig?
Yeah. You only get the pods.
You don't notice.
And I asked everyone like, "What is this weird coffee machine?" They're like, "Well, we had the old kind, but everyone kept stealing the pods, so we had to go to this new sign that nobody has in their home. So these strange pods."
Yeah, they were flat.
Yeah.
Discs.
Yes, because there's nothing to embezzle around here.
I still haven't figured out that coffee machine, by the way.
Nobody has.
That's why I make my own coffee and bring it in every day. I can't figure it out. Apparently, only Boomer Esiason knows how to make it.
No. First of all, I know how to make it. Boomer makes horrible coffee, and it's so easy. You can't. It's like the machine is designed for you not to mess it up. You have one choice to make: how many beans you want to grind. After that, it's done for you. It's so easy.
But don't you have to do the filter thing? I can't fit the filter into the damn. It doesn't close.
No. There was one time where they bought the wrong filter size. It was too big. Now it's a well-oiled machine.
So that week I was trying to make coffee was the week I was
promise
like, this thing just doesn't work, and I quit.
You go on vacation, you come back, and I'll teach you when you're back. You'll be refreshed, open-minded, and you'll have beautiful coffee for yourself every morning.
I'm open to it. Let's do it.
That's so funny. I thought Boomer was good at it. Like, honestly, when the coffee's out, I'm like, better go tell Boomer the coffee's out. That's where we are as a company. Like, okay,
go tell
there's
the
no
former
coffee.
NFL
Tell the
MVP.
former NFL MVP to make coffee.
He's good because he gets angry, and then there's coffee replaced. You need Boomer's anger on your side.
No, he's the coffee leader for sure.
But he's not the maker of it.
I had to actually, there's a windscreen on our mics. I had to make it at home out of raw materials.
I thought you were saying you use this as a coffee filter.
No, I honestly, like, this is not a robust place to take stuff from.
Man, I had a fun conversation with Boomer this morning. When was the last time Boomer was in a Walmart? Great combo.
He didn't say what's Walmart?
No.
Okay.
He's been in one
Okay.
this century.
Angel.
Also, Andrew Kaplan would like to remind us all the Odyssey runs on Dunkin'.
It does.
So thank you, Dunkin'.
Density coffee didn't taste good as it can't make it.
Yeah, it tastes awesome.
Angel Reese did not see the end of the Sky's 88-75 home loss to the Liberty last night. Reese got back-to-back texts in the fourth for saying something to an official and then waving him off after the first tee. Meanwhile, the Suns still perfect following a 76-59 beating of the still winless Mystics. Connecticut is the seventh team to start at least 9-0. The previous six made the WNBA Finals. And Gino Auriemma gets a 5-year extension at UConn. It runs through April 2029, starts at $18.7 million in total value. Gino just turned 70. Next season will be his 40th leading the Huskies.
By the way, watch that Chicago Sky game. The ejection was weak.
Very
There's
weak.
still no explanation for it,
It's
really.
ridiculous. And I kind of feel like it may have been some retribution for Angel day before saying, I'm the reason why people are showing up. And guys like, oh, yeah.
I thought it might be
trigger,
retribution for
you're out.
You think the
Kennedy
referee
Carter.
would have to do that?
No. It was retribution for not kicking out Kennedy Carter when she threw Caitlin Clark down, right?
Well, there was no physical play here. It was just there was a foul. Angel said something to him. He didn't like it. Gave her tea. Then she's walking away. Maybe says something or whatever, but you can't really see it. And then he throws her out. It's the quickest trigger you'll see on a 2-tech ejection.
Do you think it's retribution for her comment in the postgame that she's also part of the reason the WNBA is growing? I think it's more that they were mad they didn't do more about the original foul.
I think that again it goes back to like the whole league feeling a way about Caitlin Clark or any of these rookies feeling like they're the reason why fans are showing up and they're making money. And I think that this was a little bit of a humble yourself moment for
Got it.
for
Who's
Reese
the
because that was
conspiracy
quick.
theorist now? You're making my JFK takes look pretty bland compared to that. Okay, lots to do. Thank you, Bogusch. Coming up, Micah Parsons in front of a microphone, always entertaining. What was he talking about at the Cowboys minicamp yesterday? We'll play it for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Eminem had a new song, by the way. Did you see that?
I did see that. I have not heard it.
It sounds just like songs from 10, 15 years ago.
Little retro?
Little retro. He's wearing the Robin costume again. Dr. Dre's there.
Oh, there you go. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's fine. Welcome back, by the way. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Okay, now we have mini camps, Perloff. OTAs and the voluntary part of this is generally over for most teams. Now we're getting into the mandatory aspect of the offseason, which means more players are showing up. One of those players is Micah Parsons from the Cowboys, so let's hit our Cowboy Quickie. Micah Parsons obviously looking for a new contract, but put that aside for a second. He explained why he missed OTAs this season.
We're in mini camp, right? I voluntary at that. So, camp would say something that's mandatory. So I'm just looking at a time for my body to heal. I'm an undersized rusher who gets banged up every year. So I'm just letting my body heal. I'm just trying to grow, strengthen, and really just get ready for the year.
All right. That's Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Going into a contract, I wouldn't be pointing out some of my shortcomings, but he obviously said this smiling. It was a wink and a nod. Everyone says I'm undersized, so obviously I have to let my body heal.
I mean, it feels weird. He was an OTA. He's been on my screen or on my social media feed every day of the offseason. I feel like Micah Parsons is one of my best friends. I see him so much. That guy is always talking or saying something, so it doesn't even feel like... So he was a holdout of OTAs. So what I'm reading from you is that, this is a wink and a nod. He is secretly upset about this contract. He wants to get paid now.
It seems like he's willing to be patient because he said that. I said, I'm patient. He said patience is a virtue, but he does expect to be the highest paid non-quarterback when his turn comes.
Well, I took that quote as saying that, I'm not there at the OTAs, but I'm just doing it to rest my body. I thought that was like wink, wink. Of course, I'm not at OTAs because I want a new contract. I think he was just joking, right? Yeah.
He also went on to say Aaron Donald used to miss OTAs and he would win Defensive Player of the Year, and so it just
maybe he was
the timing doesn't matter. I think he was being honest. I think he's saying I'm doing my thing. It's voluntary. And as far as the contract is concerned, he also said I'm waiting my turn. Let CeeDee go get whatever. Let Dak get whatever.
Well, I mean, but then there's this Japan trip too. How long was he in Japan? It felt like forever. Maybe I'm just seeing clips from him and CJ Stroud were doing the draft, and then they went to Japan and throwing out first pitches. And
sumo
wrestling, and Micah Parsons claiming he could hit 200 in Major League Baseball, and just being in this incredible comedy routine. He takes over as the head of content for Bleacher Report Football. That's crazy. I mean, the guy has been everywhere this offseason.
He and CJ Stroud both. Well, that's your Cowboy Quickie for today, so let's hit that.
I like it all, by the way. I'm an Eagles fan, so not only do I want to see things not work out with Micah Parsons, I don't care if they re-sign Dak, not scared if they re-sign CeeDee. Parsons is terrifying to me. Bring him home to Pennsylvania. Let's bring Micah Parsons back. I hope it doesn't work out. I hope that they let him go to the end of his contract. He gets the free agency, and he finally comes home to Philly. Because he's the one important guy here.
Well, I've got some bad news for you on that front. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. I don't even want to bring this up. I feel bad now. I don't want to ruin your Wednesday.
What?
Michael Parsons said yesterday if he was going to play for any team besides the Cowboys, he wants to play for the Steelers.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
He's a Sixers fan.
They said denial. That's just because there's not a basketball team in Pittsburgh.
Micah Parsons is a lot of things. He's a Cowboy. He can't admit to the world that he wants to be an Eagle, Maggie. That'd be a crime. He still wears a star on his helmet.
All right.
No. He's a Philly fan through and through. Meek Mill will get on the case.
I definitely saw him in a Luka jersey, but that's all right. So when he was courtside hoovering popcorn in the Western Conference Finals. That aside, this is another thing about Parsons. This dude and CJ Stroud, I think also, and we'll get into CJ Stroud making some fun comments and letting us know what he really thinks about other quarterbacks in the NFL. But they're just they seem kind of radically honest here, this younger generation. Micah Parsons said this market's going to jump up and the cap goes up again next year. So they're talking about new contracts for high caliber players might be up $40 million by then. It's they just talk about it. It's I'll wait. Cap's going to spike. I'm going to be getting mine. It's there's no gray area here. He's just putting it all out there.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question. Do you really think that, what is it now, June 5th or June 6th? Do you really think he's going to wait? I find that hard to believe. I think it's going to be, he's going to get more and more upset if they don't give him a deal.
Oh, you think he's faking it?
I think and also too, I think he's a bit tempestuous. When they drafted him, they knew oh man, Micah Parsons is going to talk to every Mike. I mean, even on draft night, he was oh my God, he will not shut up. Yeah, I don't think this is as simple as hidden waiting, but maybe I'm naive.
Coming up, the Lakers are zeroing in on their next head coach. Who's going to be barking orders to LeBron James? I'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Get ready for this LA soap opera. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I don't know how else to put it, but it's gonna be a circus. And that is the report yesterday from NBA insider Shams Charania that the Lakers are zeroing in on JJ Redick as their next head coach. I mean, that means it's happening. They probably will wait until after the finals because JJ Redick is calling the NBA finals for ESPN.
Yeah.
So that'd be a little compromise. You're not supposed to talk about other players when you're...
You could get fined for something he says otherwise.
Right. So if he compliments somebody on the broadcast, he'd be losing money left and right if he gets hired like before Game 3.
Well, except that nobody's actually going to watch or listen to JJ Redick calling this finals. Just a shot at the ratings right there. No, here's the thing about Redick. It really is a soap opera because I watched this Donald Sterling show last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Clip.
How was that?
It's pretty good. It was interesting. Ed O'Neill plays Donald Sterling. It's about when Donald Sterling lost control of the Clippers. And what's the one player who has this handsome soap opera guy appear? The first player who they talk about? JJ Redick. So they have this show. It's an LA soap opera. The first 15 minutes are about signing JJ Redick. And this like sort of hunky soap opera guy is playing JJ Redick. I'm like, oh my God, if JJ Redick said this is so LA, Maggie. You cannot even like imagine. It feels like an actor is taking over the Lakers coach.
Okay. And let's talk about like what we're saying here, And I know JJ Redick is smart about basketball. And the reason I know that is because JJ Redick keeps telling me how smart he is about basketball, right? This is he is on a crusade. He has started a podcast just to tell me how smart he is about basketball. So congratulations. We're all going to get to see your smarts now on a basically nightly basis. And we're going to get to see how good you are at this, not just basketball X's and O's, managing egos, and quite frankly, doing something that very few, if any, coaches have been able to really do, which is really try to be the bigger guy in the room with LeBron James or really be the guy who's going to successfully coach LeBron James. I mean, congrats to Ty Lue. He did that with LeBron. They won a title, and it literally put Ty Lue in the freaking hospital the next year. Like, he couldn't coach because he was, like, fatigued, exhausted, all of that stuff, and it was crazy. Like, if this, to me, could it work out? Sure. What does that mean? That means the Lakers winning a title. The expectations are so high for the Lakers at the end of LeBron's tenure that you are JJ Redick walking into winning a title. That's not what Steve Kerr walked into. That's not what Nick Nurse walked into, where I'm talking about other guys who took over and in year one won titles with their new teams.
Wait.
He is
winning a title,
yes.
winning an NBA title, or an in-season tournament title. Which one are you talking about? Because that's,
they hang banners for both.
That is not the expectation. If JJ Redick gets to the conference finals, that will be a stunning success. Title? You got to be kidding.
Title.
No way.
Why else is LeBron playing right now if it's not for titles?
The same reason Kobe Bryant played till 2016. I don't know. Just to play with his son, rack up more points, keep the records out of everyone's reach.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not winning a title.
Well,
that is not. If
tell
that's
a Laker fan that. Because
yes, Laker fans are not dumb. They know basketball. They don't think they're winning a title. They have D'Angelo Russell, a point guard.
If you ask Laker fans, you even said this. You're not a Laker fan, but you even said that if the Lakers had a different path, could they have actually gotten to the Western Conference Finals?
Because that was very path dependent.
Okay, path dependent. Well,
yes, that was
who
very
knows what next year is going to be? If you had healthy Anthony Davis, healthy LeBron James, we're talking, I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to add another superstar, they're going to keep the supporting cast, whatever it is. I don't make the rules, Perloff, here. I just abide by them. And the rule is this Laker team has major expectations. And JJ Redick has to understand that. And so he's walking into a very difficult and dicey situation. And here's my big thing also about why I'm dubious about whether or not this could work. You have to understand the hierarchy when you are coaching LeBron James. You're never going to be the big dog. You're never going to be the big guy. And I wonder if JJ Redick actually can comprehend that, because I think he's been waiting to unleash his brilliance onto the world. And he's going to want credit for this. I think JJ has a huge ego. So I just wonder how that's going to exist, because LeBron James will always make sure that he's the guy who's number one, whether it's going to be passive aggressive, whether it's getting coaches fired, all that stuff. I mean, the hilarious part is they try to pretend like LeBron's not involved in the coaching search. Like, give us all a break. We're not born yesterday. I wonder if there's an ego clash coming here with JJ, who can be snarky, can be sarcastic, and always has to let everyone know how smart he is about basketball.
Yeah, I think that one thing, this LeBron presence will protect JJ. If it doesn't work, it'll be on LeBron. Like, LeBron will take a lot of the focus away from JJ Redick as the first-time head coach. And the other thing, too, is like, I mean, who cares what kind of coach? You have a 40-year-old LeBron. If LeBron can't tell people where to go, then like the coach doesn't matter for the Lakers. But you already have basically a veteran team with a lot of guys who know what they're doing. So I think this is it's a little harmless. Like, JJ Redick's not going to transform anything these guys do. They're all set in their ways, right? Anthony Davis has been around, LeBron's been around, all those guys have been around, and as the expectation, like I think you're dead wrong. Like, I don't think anyone's saying. I'm looking at the odds. FanDuel put out odds. They're 16th in NBA title odds. You're telling me the expectation is a title? If JJ Redick gets his team into the playoffs and not the play-in, that's a win already. I don't think LeBron's still thinking title. The guy's 40 years old.
I talk to Laker fans. I don't know. LeBron seemed like pretty content this year. He's like, yeah, we gave it a good go. Well, this is another part of this too, which is, okay, does this have a possibility of just being a disappointment? Maybe, right? Whatever standard you're going to use.
Disappointment be missing the playoffs,
Missing the playoffs. Does this have an opportunity to be something that's forgettable? Something like that. This also has the opportunity to be an outright dumpster fire and embarrassing. And here's how. If JJ Redick is not good at this, yet continues to be smug, the media attention around this is going to be massive, and we all know that. So every word's going to get parsed, and every passive-aggressive Instagram post, and all of that. So this has a chance to be a real pressure cooker.
Totally.
And if they actually draft Bronny,
oh yeah,
and something happens when Bronny, if he actually is on the roster, not in the G League, and he actually does play, and let's say he's getting cooked out there. Look at what teams are doing to Caitlin Clark. What do you think they're going to do to Bronny, who's not even nearly as good, and trying to send a message, talk about being resentful, talking about being like handed something that you didn't earn? Holy moly. They're going to be lining up to dunk on Bronny. And maybe you're not dunking on him because he's a guard, but you know what I mean. You're going to be lining up to cross up Bronny.
Yeah, but you could just bury Bronny on the bench.
Fine, you could do that too. I'm just saying, if LeBron wants to play with Bronny, and there's going to be times where it's garbage time, you're going to empty the bench, he's going to touch the floor.
Yeah, but I think, listen, they can manage that situation at some point. He's definitely not going to be in the rotation. Guy scored 4 points a game at USC. No coach is a guy. You're not going to play Bronny in key minutes.
Which makes this even more of a joke.
And he's going to be a second-round pick. What second-round pick? I mean, it's rare that a second-round pick gets on the court. So NBA teams have 15 guys, so put him somewhere between 10 and 15. I see what you're saying, but I think they can, if they're smart. JJ is as genius as he said. They're going to bury and protect Bronny.
They should. I mean, but the moment he touches the floor, someone's going on a yam on him. I mean,
yeah, but he'll be on the floor with other bench warmers, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm saying if this is like, a lot of times we see teams now, especially with the load management, like you have to play to get to a certain 65 games for posting awards, but there are also blowouts. We see teams wave the white flag earlier now than we ever have. So you're up by 30 or you're down by 30. All of a sudden, it's empty the bench time. Yeah. Bronny might get a fourth quarter to play in.
And also, even if he does bomb and say it's embarrassing, that's not the end all to be all. Kids, how old is Bronny? I remember Kobe Bryant shot 3 air balls famously in his first playoffs when he was 19, and that didn't hurt his confidence. I mean, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about all
different.
this.
Kobe, little different coming to the league than Bronny. Little different.
Well, yeah, but there's still
Kobe was a phenom.
Yeah, but
whose dad wasn't one of the best players in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, but his dad
deserved to be drafted.
His dad was a pro, but he was clearly he was real raw when he came in the NBA. He really, his first year, if you ever look at it, he had no idea what he was doing. You could see the side. The guy had 3 air balls in a key moment at the end of the game. That didn't stop him.
Yes, but he deserved to be drafted. Bronny is not deserving to be drafted, yet he's being drafted anyway. That's the difference.
Okay, so, Bronny, here's the thing. There's so much going on right now. You said, the Bronny thing is going to be a distraction. LeBron being 40 and is going to be a distraction.
JJ.
Yeah, it's all distractions. Do they all sort of cancel each other out. Honestly,
they make it bigger.
If they get to the second round of the playoffs and they have this Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. kind of thing, nobody cares if that team with both Griffeys won. It's a cute story. I think they could get some positive out of this without winning a title because reality, Maggie, is they're not winning a title. So, and you say these Lakers fans expect a title. I'm not so sure. Did they expect a title when Kobe was getting toward the end? No, and they enjoyed it anyway. It was kind of fun. Reward the guy. So have this father-son combo. Isn't that enough?
I think that people believe that Kobe really maxed out every part of his career. Like no part of Kobe, he got 5 titles. He won without Shaq. There were bad teams around him that he dragged to the playoffs. For LeBron, I think there's a little more, could he still?
No.
Can he still get another title? Can he still get closer?
Yep.
He's got 4. Can he win a title with the Lakers that's not in the bubble? I still think there's meat on the bone with LeBron. I think everyone with Kobe at the end was like, listen, he's got the Achilles. It's injuries. We're never going to see that old Kobe again. I think people still have expectations on LeBron.
I think in 2015, people still foolishly had expectations of Kobe. I think I understand what you're saying. Like LeBron's still putting up MVP numbers when he's on the court. But I think everyone was like, oh, maybe Kobe can do it one more time. And I'm sorry, we're in the maybe LeBron can do it one more time. That might be just as naive to think that LeBron can win an NBA title now. There's a possibility he has no chance, Maggie.
So the topic started with Shams Charania reporting that the Lakers are zeroing in on JJ Redick as the head coach, which basically means put it in ink. He's getting the job. Now, this is interesting in the chat. You want to watch the show, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork. If you're in the chat, if you could hit subscribe, we'd be so appreciative. Here's Pine Needle. All the negative stuff they're saying about JJ is exactly what they said about Eric Spoelstra when he took over the Heat. That seemed to work out fine, and all the pundits were wrong. I can't imagine 2 different people than Eric Spoelstra and JJ Redick. Pine Needle, you're awesome. You give us so many good comments. Could not disagree more on this one. Spoelstra was an anonymous video coordinator who worked his way up in the Miami Heat organization and got the approval of Pat Riley, who was literally sitting over his shoulder, I think, those first couple of years to navigate and help him navigate through this. JJ Redick is one of the most famous college basketball players of all time, who maximized his pro career, who now does a podcast with LeBron James and another podcast, who's calling the NBA Finals, who a lot of people still hate from his time at Duke. I can't imagine 2 more different people.
Same. You're saying that JJ Redick at Duke was a bigger deal than Eric Spoelstra at Portland? Actually, I love Eric Spoelstra highlights from college. That guy was a solid point guard. No, they are different. I was thinking about most teams, really when you think about most hires are retread head coaches or top assistants that nobody knows. Like that's why I think I think the average casual fan doesn't even know half the coaches in the NBA because they are just low profiles. Like who is Chris Finch? I'm not
Mark
sure.
Daynault.
Yeah. Like they're assistants.
They kind of toil in anonymity unless you're really into hoops.
And Spoelstra was one of those guys, right? Like JJ's the exact opposite. He's as high profile as you could probably get now, unless God, I don't even know.
Steve Kerr was a very high profile, but he'd also been a GM.
JJ's way more high profile. Steve Kerr was. JJ was a better player. JJ scored like 15 to 20 points a game, whereas Steve Kerr was like 8 or... Yeah, he was a champion, but...
not just with Chicago, but also with San Antonio. Steve Kerr is super famous. I think, but Steve Kerr again...
Steve Kerr also ran a team, too.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't run it particularly well, but he did run the Suns.
But Redick's way more polarizing than Steve Kerr was. Steve Kerr was well-liked. Steve Kerr... was the opposite of polarizing. Everybody seemed to respect and like him. JJ Redick is just for some reason draws since Duke. Like you love him or you hate him, or most of the people hate him at Duke. People seem to like him in the media.
Mostly hate. Also, something has changed on the tenor and tone of the podcast that he's doing with LeBron.
I am shocked at this.
It's the dynamic is weird.
Yeah, I'm shocked that you actually listened to that. Like, how could you sit there?
I know. I have a family. I have friends. How am I listening to this?
Do shots of vodka to get through that? How could you possibly sit and listen to? Pizzolotti's not here, but how can you actually listen to that LeBron JJ podcast? That seems to me like torture.
What I do on my own time, whether it's imbibing a lot of vodka and then listening to a basketball podcast, is my business. But it's weird because I like body language and interaction, stuff like that. And the first podcast, the first couple ones they did, LeBron like couldn't be bothered. You know, it kind of felt like he was really feeling this out and he wasn't really sold on it. He seemed a little hesitant and all of that. Then they would drink more wine and he would kind of loosen up. This now, the two of them are like smiling at each other and LeBron's got his like professional athlete voice on and JJ's wearing these big headphones like he looks like Diplo or something. It's just weird all around. And what I'm saying is I think it's foreshadowing awkward times ahead. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, it's going to be a bit of a circus. I mean, first of all, JJ is if they draft Bronny, then like the JJ thing is way on the back burner. Like that's the biggest story in basketball, right?
Yeah, but see, this is like when two famous people marry each other. It doesn't just double the amount of coverage you get; it quadruples the amount of media coverage you get. This is a every part of it is its own thing. No one thing's. They're going to all take turns overshadowing each other.
I think you're right. I think JJ's an afterthought if Bronny's actually in a Lakers uniform.
No, he's talking to the media every day. He's the head coach.
But so is Darvin Ham, and no one's even going to remember that Darvin Ham was the Lakers coach.
Spoelstra and JJ Redick, Darvin Ham and JJ Redick. These are very different people.
I just think the Bronny story will be so massive that it'll give them a lot of cover for not winning, if they don't win. I think it'll be like, yeah, it's cute. Father, son. That's all people are going to remember 10 years from now, not who was the head coach.
I think we also have to start another conversation on this, and I don't know how we show bet this because it's going to be, the opinions on this are going to be all over the road, but I don't think the Bronny LeBron thing is going to be as cute and is going to be as, like, if it does happen and they do draft Bronny, I don't know if people are going to be as high on this as you think they are. Like, oh, this is this feel-good story. I know the Griffies were a feel-good story, but...
Well, what's the difference?
I think people like the Griffies.
Griffey eurned his way to the major league.
and Ken Griffey Jr. was amazing and was the number 1 overall pick and was worth it and all of that stuff.
Well, what if we put out a poll? Do you want to see LeBron and Bronny play together? Like, who does?
Or do you think it's a like?
Well, let me just. But do you want to see it?
Feel-good, heartwarming story? Yeah, maybe for Good Morning America and for things like that. I think sports fans already love and hate LeBron, and he's already has like a wild opinions about him. And
okay, but do you want to see it?
I don't think Bronny's ready, man. No, I think Bronny should be in college still. That's my opinion.
Oh my God. No, we got to see this. If we don't see this at this point, it's like I've seen the trailer of this movie. I have to see the movie. If Bronny doesn't go to the NBA, if Bronny's not with LeBron, I'm asking for my money back. Even though, like, come on, we have to see it now, right? You can't just let this go.
But you mentioned Bronny is a second-round pick or undrafted, whatever he's going to be with the Lakers. In what situation is LeBron playing in a game where Bronny is playing? Because isn't the whole point was that Griffies are in the outfield together. They're batting for, first and second, wherever they were in the order. Like
we'll get enough. We'll get a few minutes. Like maybe there'll be an alley-oop here or there. They'll get enough. We'll get a taste.
I guess. I just feel like this whole end of LeBron's time to Lakers feels very MJ on the Wizards. I don't like how this is going.
Yikes, CJ. I mean, good.
Well, yeah,
I think it's gonna because I think what LeBron has going for him is that even though they're not winning finals or going to the finals, like they're still a relatively decent team, and he's still putting up great numbers. There isn't a circus-like atmosphere towards what LeBron's time with the Lakers has been. I think bringing the circus to what his time has been with the Lakers, considering Bronny's not ready, considering JJ Redick is not a head coach. This could become circus-like, and I think we'll think of the last few years of LeBron's career similar to how we think of MJ's time with the Wizards, where we're like, let's just erase that. That didn't go well, and we don't want to remember that.
You might want to erase it, but I would not characterize MJ with the Wizards as a circus.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not saying I wouldn't characterize a circus either. I'm saying in terms of like how we view it, either positively or negatively.
Well, I think that LeBron could have left LA to go to a contender next year. But I think he's going to say the last few years, yeah, I didn't win a title, but I arranged everything to play with Bronny. It's his ultimate out. It's his excuse for not winning a title the last 4 years of his career. I think he's using this like legacy-wise. It's a smart play. He's like, yeah, I didn't win, but I got to play with Bronny, and that was more important.
You want to know what? You want to know if I don't know if Anthony Davis cares about any of this stuff, but if I was Anthony Davis, that would chap my you-know-what. Because I'm still trying to build my legacy. People call me street clothes. Even though I won a title and I was extremely important to that Laker bubble title, and if this is all a setup so that Bronny can get a little shine, if I'm AD, I ask for a trade. Get me the hell out of here. What am I doing? I got to be sidekick now for the LeBron James family barbecue? This is crazy.
Hit a jump shot in the fourth quarter, then you can talk if you're Anthony Davis. I mean, he's a disappearing that guy. So
he had a great season. He probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Where was he in crunch time against the Nuggets?
Listen, again, I'd go and be on a better team. So I can have better teammates who actually are trying to win this thing. You don't think Anthony Davis could be an asset to someone on a title team?
Where's he going to go? Okay, he's going to leave the LA Lakers to go to Atlanta?
No,
what are you talking about?
He doesn't. I don't think he has I don't know if he wants to. I don't know if he has I don't think he could stand up to his own agent.
That's a big thing. Rich Paul is the guy
Paul's very powerful.
He's on TV every day. He'll be fine. He's not unless
he can't do a press conference without LeBron. I don't know why Anthony Davis never does press conferences by himself anymore.
By the way, he's got to wear this JJ Redick thing too, because he was the guy apparently didn't want Darvin Ham. So if JJ Redick goes out there and he can't rally around this locker room, there's already Udonis has him saying these guys are gonna look at JJ Redick sideways, thinking that it's coming from LeBron. They also gonna look at AD saying, "Yo, man, you brought this guy in here. What? This is what we have now. We lost a real head coach, and now we got a guy who's doing podcasts." And he's our head coach now.
EJ, you know that AD took the bullet for LeBron. That was AD saying, I didn't want him when everyone knew it was LeBron who got
was the guy that was walking out of the press conference. They asked, what do you think of the strategy late in games? And he don't want to talk about it.
Whatever. Rich Paul threw AD out there. It's just it wasn't LeBron. It was AD, my other client. Get out of here. Either way, they're together, and he's not leaving the Lakers, and he's fine being a Laker. You think Anthony Davis is one of these guys, if I don't win a title, it's all ending for me? No way.
Well, that's what I said. I don't know if he's like this, but if I were him, I would want to trade. 855-212-4227. All right, you are welcome to weigh in on every part of this JJ Redick thing. Already feels kind of like a circus. 855-212-4227. Of course, in the chat, youtube.com/infinitysportsnet. I love the Weedos. I love Pine Needle. He's a solid contributor. Solid Weedo. Solid color.
He had ripped a pretty good comeback with you, by the way.
Did he come back on me?
He said, Maggie's taking it out on me for what the dude said about the Bills.
I'm angry at the world today. How dare a hockey coach invoke my 90s Bills for your pump-up material? Okay, so much more to do, including we head back to the NFL. What did Tua have to say about his whole situation and what's going on with Tua in general? We'll get to all that next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. All right, I know we're on radio, Infinity Sports Radio Network, Sirius Channel 158, and it is a audio medium. But a visual thing that I need to talk about before we talk about Tua's contract is, quick question for you, Maggie. What the heck is going on with Tua Tagovailoa? Who is this man that is being photographed in practice that just looks like another human being? EJ brought it up yesterday, and I did a huge deep dive into Tua's glow-up over the offseason. Tua might be in the most interesting contract situation of all time. Nobody can look away. Like, he's a different human being from last year. It's the weirdest thing ever in the It's one of the weirdest transformations in NFL that Tua changes looks so much. It's a haircut. It's teeth. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's the weight loss. I think that this is what we've narrowed it down to. He grew out his hair and he lost what do you say, 20 pounds?
Yeah.
So some people lose the weight in their face. And I think that's what happened. You know what he reminds me of? Did this ever happen to any of you guys in high school where like you'd go away over like your sophomore year and then you come back in junior year, all of a sudden someone just got real hot? I'm not saying Tua is good looking. I'm just saying, I don't, it's not about that, but like someone transformed themselves. It was like, wow, do you remember Billy? Like, wow, Billy, what happened over, like you grew 5 inches, you dyed your hair, you got contact lenses, something. And all of a sudden, or maybe this happens to women too. It's like, Jessica, like what happened to her over the summer? And then all of a sudden they're hot, right? All of a sudden they're flashing people at the Oilers game.
But that is not what's happening with Tua. That is definitely
it's that type of transformation where you can't look away. It's like, what did happen?
No, it feels like a weird transformation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. It's definitely like a new person, but it's not like, I know that the phenomenon you're talking about very well.
It's called puberty, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, but like.
Sometimes not necessarily.
Puberty can be rough for some people, and I'll raise my hand.
Me too. Everybody arrives, right? Junior year, that's a big deal. That first week of school. Tua has just gone on a completely different lane. I don't know who this person is. I mean, there's a picture of him in a meet and greet, and this is really happening all over the place. I've seen it on 3 shows. There's a new picture. Let's look at the new Tua. And everybody, lots of major analysts think the fan who he's signing is Tua.
The guy in the Tua jersey is actually not Tua.
Yeah, that looks more like Tua than Tua. It is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, EJ sent that picture. I'm like, is he the one on the left?
Everybody
he's
said
the one
that.
on the right.
I watched a 5-minute breakdown on ESPN of their fan. Be like, yeah, I guess he looks a little taller. I'm like, that's not Tua. You're talking about the guy wearing the Tua jersey. So I don't even honestly, I don't even care what the Dolphins do this year. I just want to get to the bottom of Tua's look. It is going to be a wild, and also
is it the veneers too? Do we think that?
I think the veneers are a big part of it.
Okay.
I think that really does change also just like the front of your face, like your front of your mouth and your jaw and everything.
Are we sure it's veneers though? Because I'm seeing old pictures and he's got a nice bright white smile.
But the teeth look different.
Sound like
though.
Bill Walton. May he rest in peace. He's got a gorgeous smile.
But there's something about the teeth that just look different. I know. Yeah, he's always had a pearly whites, but these look very new.
Very new.
Reason.
Okay.
Also, the weight loss is obviously a big football question. Like last year, this time, it was a year ago, we're like, man, they can never pay this guy because he's going to get hurt again. And then he put on a lot of weight. We're like, oh, that's good. And he learned how to do jiu-jitsu. So is this skinny, different looking Tua going to be healthy enough to pay? Like it does all work. It actually matters.
I just don't understand why you would do something different when you just got through the season healthy.
I know.
This doesn't add up to me. Let's hear from Tua. Nico, can I have cut 11, please? Tua agreeing with this new contract. He is getting a little antsy.
Just wanting to get something done. That's it. Just wanted to get something done.
What was your reaction? Go ahead. Concerned? Is that?
Not concerned. Concerned's not the right word. That's way off from the word.
Antsy, maybe?
Probably antsy in a way, yeah.
Are they that far off from each other? You're concerned, you're antsy. They're not synonyms, but they're pretty close. Let's also hear Tua said he's aware of the quarterback market. Let's play cut 1.
I'm not blind to people that, are in my position that are getting paid. Am I concerned about it? I'm not concerned about it, but there's a lot of discussions, that we've had that, we just are trying to move that thing into the right direction.
By the way, it doesn't sound like Tua either. Are we sure this is the real Tua? I know, Maggie, you're a conspiracy theorist lately. Is it possible there's an actor playing Tua Tagovailoa at
He's not
Dolphins
doing a
camp?
great job because he's sweating it out here with the contract. This is not exactly a poker face.
I just think that the real Tua, that did not sound like Tua to me. Whatever.
If he comes out and starts throwing right-handed,
Yeah, he's
like,
right.
Whoa, what happened? This is not Tua. We know it. So apparently behind the scenes, I heard some reporting on this from ESPN, which is the team may think he's a little more in the Jared Goff category, and Tua thinks he's more in the Justin Herbert category. And if you're wondering what those two categories are, it's about $40 million difference.
I don't think he's in any category.
Wait, $40 million over how long?
Well, I don't know, but that's the delta. Like it would be, he's looking for maybe the chasm here might be something in the neighborhood of $40 million. Which
Well,
is
Goff
not
makes $50 million a year, and Herbert makes $53.
the whole new guarantees.
Yeah,
and all the
but
new money.
still, but you're talking about a 4-year deal. Like that's minimal, right? For $40 million. If
Tell
they
that to Tua.
if Miami if he gets the Goff offer, oh my God, and Tua doesn't jump on that, honestly, I would say Miami. Okay, you're great. Let's move on.
What about his stunt double?
Yeah.
Will he accept the offer?
Stunt double will accept any offer, clearly, because he sounds very nervous.
He does. I was going to say, if this is an actor, he's not doing a good job keeping his cool. So that's a little what's going on with Tua.
Man, this is a hard place to be the Dolphins because, like, it's a lot of money. If they give him Jared Goff money, like, that's a big deal. Like, I just don't know. I'm still, like, we can't forget about the size and the concussions. Like, even the Goff money, I'd be very uneasy.
Jared Goff's thrown for 4,000 yards 4 times in his career. Tua's basically had one good season.
Well, he led the league in passing yards last year. That's
right,
something.
I'm saying, but one season really of that kind of production.
Well, it also happens when you go for it on 4th down on every. He's got how many more downs does Jared Goff have to work with? Of course, he's going to throw for tons of yards. All right, we put Tua to the side for a moment. We check in with Andrew Bogusch on everything else going on.
Well, conspiracy theories do abound this morning. Who killed JFK? What was Shohei gambling on? Who ejected Angel Reese last night? Rapid fire text for Reese in the fourth quarter of last night's 88-75 home loss to the Liberty. Sky head coach Teresa Witherspoon couldn't help us post-game.
I tried to get an explanation. I did not. I don't know to this moment.
So maybe ref Charles Watson does think Angel is silly for thinking people are watching the W for her as well. Teammate Marina Mabry had some post-game advice for Reese.
It's more about composure for us in our young years in the WNBA. So, gotta get to know refs and how they respond to things.
Reese did not speak to reporters after the game. The official explanation is that Reese said something wrong for the first tee. The second was for, quote, waving her hand in dismissal. It was definitely soft, the ejection.
It's a light one.
Yeah.
But I guess that's true. Do you have to learn the referees? I mean...
Definitely. That is true.
That's
definitely.
True.
But I mean, maybe they would definitely know better than I do about whether that ref has a quick trigger. He didn't throw anyone else out of the game, so I don't know. But maybe. I mean, the Angel talks a lot.
We're just wondering, what is this actually retribution for if we're going next level here? Is it retribution for Angel, as Bogusch just laid out? That was EJ's theory. Or is this retribution for Kennedy Carter and her not getting ejected? And it's like, well, now we're going to eject your teammate. I'm going to be honest. Both sound a little flimsy, guys.
What?
Well, I think the Kennedy Carter, I think the WNBA was really embarrassed by the Kennedy Carter thing. You don't think that's flimsy? Like, they're definitely coming down hard on this.
Right, but then I would take it out on Carter. I wouldn't take it out on Angel Reese.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. But, I don't think they care about Angel Reese's post-game comments as much. I disagree with EJ on that. Do they really care what Angel says? This was a gigantic scandal, this Kennedy Carter thing. It was, and every news show was talking about this shove.
But here's my question, though. So, a lot of the conversation about Caitlin Clark and whatever the issue is maybe with these other WNBA players is this idea that that these women were already here and that there already was growth and that somehow Caitlin Clark is there to save the league, that she is some savior, and that's why people are watching. If you have another rookie say, hey, by the way, that other savior, I'm a savior too. I'm the reason why people are coming.
But nobody really believed that.
Okay, look online. A lot of people were saying, hey, that's a good point. Angel Reese did bring a lot of audience. So to me, I'm looking at that saying, okay, well, if there was an issue with Caitlin Clark and whatever people think of her saying that, why wouldn't there also maybe
be an issue? I know, but why would the
Angel...
referee be the person to adjudicate that online discussion?
The rookie's talking. She talks a lot. Angel's a trash talker. And she talks off the court. She talks a lot on the court. She talks a lot on social media.
So they're trying to humble the rookie.
The referee might have had enough.
Yeah.
She was talking all game. I'm watching the game, and he probably was like, "You need to sit down. You need to chill."
Yeah. She has a sick block in this game, by the way.
I wonder if Caitlin plays Friday. Is that her next game?
Yep.
What a terrible time for a week off. But if she gets breathed on, there's going to be a technical immediately.
I agree.
They're going to call everything and more because I think they're embarrassed. The officials are like, "Oh my gosh!" Everyone thinks we stink, right? Because and also too, everyone's kind of noticing the physical play in the WNBA. There's a lot of collisions, so that's kind of where you guys probably watch more than me. Is it more physical than the NBA?
I think it's extremely physical, and I think I will 100% agree with you. Caitlin's going to get calls for a month now.
I mean, the NBA's done this before too, where they change the level of physicality that they allow. It's a big deal. Leagues do it. Yeah, leagues do it all the time. But you can't be too obvious about the Caitlin thing. You got to try and find a middle ground. If they call
referees aren't known for subtlety.
Yeah. You got to call the fouls that are there, right? That seems to be the biggest thing.
But that's the thing. I think Caitlin has been played very tough, and maybe there are more fouls they could have been calling. She's getting hammered out there. She is not just the Kennedy Carter thing. She's really. She's getting pushed around.
I watched a Liberty game on Sunday, and Caitlin was 60 feet from the basket, and they didn't even need to touch her. They didn't foul her. Then she was on the bench. That was a blowout.
It was a terrible game.
Yeah. You don't. I mean, Caitlin Clark's not really inside at all. I don't think you have to push her around that much. But when she's just standing there not watching, that's a good time to get her.
What else we got?
Isn't this sweet? James Harden was asked recently by Basket News how he'd like to be remembered once he's done playing.
That I was a winner, that I was a teacher, that I had a different love for the game. Put the money aside, I really enjoy and love the game of basketball and playing it. So whether it's, being with the kids, here or, when I travel, other places in Europe, when I go to China, I just want, people to understand and understand how much I really love and enjoy the game of basketball.
So he might love the game, but what did he win and whom did he teach?
Also, is it going to China to for a bunch of kids to tell them that he'll never play for Daryl Morey ever again?
It's the only thing I remember him going to China and talking to kids.
I have no idea what else. Was he even a basketball clinic? Did he even stick around to teach these kids anything?
He just called them over from the park.
Come over. I just want to say, and then I want to say it again for the people in the back, in case they didn't hear me. I will never play for Daryl Morey ever again. What do you think James Harden's actually going to be remembered for? I think as
not winning,
playoff choker,
yeah,
and a strip club advocate.
Is that fair though?
No, I think his legacy will actually be better after he plays, and people look back because right now that's how we all think of him. They'll look back and say, "Oh, the guy scored 28 points a game." I think he gets away.
He's a great offensive player. I don't think people believe he's a serious player, though, and I think that's because of the postseason failure.
It's just the reason why I said it's fair is because I've defended James on the show a little bit, which is crazy because I'm usually not that guy. But they did go. He was part of the kind of birth of the Oklahoma City Thunder becoming a contender. He did take the Rockets team they were a terrible team, and they became a perennial winner. He's been on winning teams. They just haven't won a title. Is it fair to be like...
And it feels like because of him.
Right.
Because of major no-show moments in big games.
For sure. And that's something he's got to wear. Sure. And that's why I think him saying that he wants to be remembered as a winner, I think is fine for him, but I don't think it's going to happen. But is it fair to say, is he considered just a loser? Because everywhere he's gone, he's won.
Well, he'll be a Hall of Famer. I mean, if that is anything.
I mean, he's won a lot more than Allen Iverson. And in Allen Iverson, we idolize him.
Yep.
You know who reminds me of is another MVP, like Russell Westbrook, the same thing. Like right now, his Q rating could not be lower. Like nobody thinks Russell Westbrook's even good. But I think 15 years from now, it's like, he was a pretty sick player. I think the same thing will happen for Harden. Like our kids will be like, James Harden must have been a really good player, right?
Yeah, just do the highlights. But it's such a ring culture and such a win culture, especially in the NBA. Like, if you don't have rings and titles, unless you're Charles Barkley, you've been on TV for the last 25 years, continuing to remind us how great you were, I don't know.
I think that MVP means a lot. And I don't know about that because Patrick Ewing's an NBA god and Karl Malone's an NBA god. And, is it still really a ring culture? Like, who are we denigrating historically?
I think Patrick Ewing definitely that gets denigrated because of no rings.
Patrick Ewing's
without a doubt.
He's a legend. I mean, he's
that may be
here.
If you're talking, if you're talking about,
it's
I'm
an
not here. I
underachievement.
have zero Knicks fandom in me. No, if you're talking about the great centers of all time, like Ewing's definitely in that conversation.
And
probably in the top 25 list of ESPN's all-time players.
And how many conversations do we ever have about Patrick Ewing? Zero.
I mean, how many conversations do we have about David Robinson? And he won a title. We ever talk about David Robinson's game?
But we talk about the Spurs. I don't know. I
he's
think it's
right
still
in
ring
there.
culture.
He's part of that Robinson, Akin, Ewing era.
I do think to Perloff's point, I do think that losing to Jordan is different than losing to these guys.
Right, but James Harden's not going to have that.
That's why I'm saying is that I think that's why it's different. I think for people
losing to Steph Curry, I guess, and the Warriors.
It should mean the same. I feel like, but it doesn't to people.
But
I mean, he took the
fair,
Warriors to 7 games. It was the KD Warriors.
Harden's lost to tons of people. So it's not just
he lost to LeBron. He lost to
Harden. Did they lose to Clippers one year?
I mean, he lost a lot of people. I mean, Ewing lost to people. I'm talking about the highest echelon, where he's trying to win the finals, going to the conference finals. Like he's lost to Curry twice. Once Curry with Kevin Durant, and then once LeBron in the Heatles.
Yeah,
he's not losing to the Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah,
but I know he did make. He was on the finals team, right? But he's really
he's not. And he was
but he hasn't been
terrible in that final.
But Ewing was a star who got to the finals, so it's a little different. Harden never even got to the finals with all those teams
when he was a star, when he was the guy. All right, Bogusch, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Hadn't really thought about James Harden's legacy in a minute, so appreciate that. Coming up, lots more to do, including some hot takes from a young rookie.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Believe Bilatti's got something to say. Infinity's mice, he's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC, what a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free, he misses Mar. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right. Believe Bilatti's got something to say.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans, living in the Big Apple. They're part of the grand plan, but they just witnessed the crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man, that's hard to beat. Sitting in the studio talking about the game, Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan, it's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart's in your hand. Man, Manny and EJ, they're lost and confused. Knicks played hard, but it wasn't what they used to. Every missed shot, every turn, oh, they saw leaving them shot. They can't believe what they're in for. Manny and EJ, they're
roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking, no need to explain. We may have crossed the line, but who's to say? Maggie's teaching her children to handle it her way, making light of the struggles, finding joy through the tears. With a sense of humor, they'll conquer their fears. Ha ha ha, let's laugh it off. Put a smile on your face. Ha ha ha, bring on the jokes. No need to keep the pace. We'll turn the pain into laughter. Let it all go. Ha ha ha. Together we can grow. Roasting Tom Brady, we took it too far. But Maggie don't care, she's a superstar. Said the kids need to learn to laugh at the pain, so we'll keep on joking, no need to explain. We may have crossed the line. Bogusch weeps, he's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home, his heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall. But it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall. A loser in his own right, can't catch a break. Road trip dreams shattered for good.
thinks that they just want to play together and this is going to be a cute story. I think that's ignoring a big part of LeBron, which is the expectations are always there, whether he's 40, whether he's 25, everything he does and everywhere he goes. I think people expect to see greatness because he's still delivering.
Yeah, but hasn't his MO changed? Like normally he's left the team by now to find a better contender. And this is odd that he's staying with the Lakers, right? This is not the way he's normally operated. Hasn't he left every other team at this point?
Yeah, but they're not a terrible team, right? Like they just did get to the Western Conference Finals a year ago. And if they didn't run into the Nuggets this year, maybe they go a lot further.
Right, but if it was typical LeBron, he'd find a better contender. Is that fair to say? I know I'm not getting the LeBron legacy talk, but like if he was really focusing on winning a championship, wouldn't he find a different situation?
No, he's in Los Angeles, Perloff.
Well, I know it's a nice city, but what does that have to do with the team?
What does it have to do with the team?
Like, you really think this team is on the brink of a title, Sean?
Like, what does it take, Perloff? You've seen him do this before. All these guys, just takes a couple more different pieces, and he's going to bring in this coach, and they're all going to be on the same page.
He's got to get to the East, Sean. Like, that's old LeBron would have gone to the East.
Well, that's why, and Sean, thank you for the phone call. That's why I thought the 76ers were on the table. You said no. I'm like, well, I don't know. Look at Maxey. Look how good Maxey played in the playoffs. I thought maybe he would have saw that and almost like he saw young Kyrie Irving and say, I'm going to attach myself to that.
Well, you know what would have been a good plan? I know it's impossible. Pick another city like Atlanta and bring all his friends there. Like, somehow get KD and LeBron, like a Heat version.
Yeah,
just, like,
that was tough, though.
Reunite super friends. Because the Sixers, like, you have a problem with Embiid's health.
Yeah, but Wade was already in Miami. So, like, one piece of the puzzle, and Pat Riley was there, is a little different.
I know what you're saying. But they're probably, it was like the Cavs. Like, the Cavs were a sleeping giant. He looked at that roster and said, ooh, I can build this into something. There's got to be that team out there. And I just think the Lakers are too pinned into a lot of their veterans. Like, this team, to me, is not winning a title.
Can I ask you a question away from basketball? You have a lot of fears, right?
Right.
Sharks, Bears?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Just impending doom.
Yeah.
You say you'd never let your gas tank get below half a tank just in case you have to exit, make a quick exit in the city?
Like, well, that's not fear. That's common sense. But go ahead.
Okay. Did you notice that the venomous spiders are coming?
Yeah.
Have you heard this? I don't know if spiders are on your list of fears.
There was one in our apartment. I swear to God.
This spider?
Yes.
The Joro spider?
There was a bug that we could not identify that got into our 8th floor apartment. And Sarah's like, what? My wife is like, what the heck is this thing? And honestly, I didn't look at it, but she said, I've never seen a fly like that. I don't know what this thing is, but I'm killing it and putting it in the trash. I think it was one of those venomous spiders.
Well, apparently they're quote unquote hard to miss because they have a leg span up to 4 inches. They're known for their vibrant yellow and gray bodies. They're venomous.
But they're not that big. They can look
4 inches.
No, the legs are. It's like a daddy long leg, though. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, we had one of those venomous spiders in our house. And when you say venomous, I don't think they're like black widows.
Not to humans, but that's apparently to other spiders, they really pose a threat. Yeah. So good luck, spiders.
No, I'm not super afraid of spiders, which is cool.
Oh, so that's one.
Yeah.
You got that going for you.
I don't like mice and rats. Those are...
Well, I mean, nobody likes them.
But people don't like spiders usually. But spiders are good because they kill the flies.
Yeah, they're important to the ecosystem.
No, they're important to the apartment, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your personal ecosystem.
Yeah, no. Spiders are good. You don't want black widows.
Pearl's right. I'm all same. I 100% agree.
Spiders, you're fine.
Spiders are totally fine. When I used to live in my basement, my family's basement, they used to be freaked out. They're like, oh my God, all these spider webs and spiders. I'm like, no, they kill all the other weird stuff in here.
Man, EJ, what a missed opportunity. Every one of your social handles should be EJ from the basement. That'd be so great.
Well, I'm not in the basement anymore, but
now you're in the penthouse.
That would have been good. You're right.
They've apparently these spiders are marching all across the East Coast: Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio. This is like an invasion.
Does this freak you out, Maggie?
I mean, I noticed it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. No, this doesn't bother me at all. I mean,
spiders are my favorite.
This is a city with so much insane stuff going on. These spiders are not going to make any impact.
Not going to make a dent?
No.
It's like when the Super Bowl came to New York and no one really noticed. Like,
Venomous spiders, 4-inch legs.
All right. Put a shark in the water. Perloff, you won't see him for 3 weeks. Coming up, great debate.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Bogusch waves. He's got the road trip blues left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home, his heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall, but it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall, a loser in his own right. Can't catch a break, road trip dream shattered. For goodness sake, for goodness sake, Bogusch cruising highways, hilarity atop San Antonio shining. The city's calling their names, but Bogusch sitting home, stuck playing life's cool games. Bogusch waves, he's got
Andrew Bogusch high on display. Road trip blues won't go away. Left behind, feeling bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio, no excuse. Can't believe his eyes, what a sight. While Bogusch stays home, feeling so uptight. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall, but it's Bogusch left behind, feeling small, a loser in his own right. Can't catch a break, road trip dreams shattered. For goodness sake, counting minutes ticking like a clock, while Perloff cruises highways, laughter in stock.
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
On Wednesdays around here, we do something called The Great Debate. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Today, Perloff, we're talking about the NBA Finals. Let's hit the music.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, here we go. Let's kick it off. NBA Finals begin tomorrow. So we are simply asking, who has the greatest Finals performance of all time?
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I'm going to start off with a controversial one.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the 1993 Michael Jordan performance, Bulls against the Suns. NBA high for final series ever, 41 points game, 8.5 rebounds, 6.3 assists. Obviously led them to first three-peat since the 60s Celtics. Incredible. Cemented his, Michael Jordan's position at the top of the NBA pyramid. And I'm saying it's controversial.
Yeah, why?
Because I want to win this debate. I don't want to leave 91 Jordan out there for you guys because that was also an incredibly magical final. So I think 91 was sick. He averaged 11.4 assists per game in the 91 finals. But 93, the scoring was nuts. Just the last games 2 through 5, he scored 42, pretty good, 44, 55 in an overtime game, 41, 33. The whole time shot over 50%. I never got to the free throw line in this series. Only took, I think, 8 total free throws. Actually, no, that was, he basically did not shoot well from the free throw line and still scored all the time. He was incredible, unstoppable. So 93 Jordan is my pick. And it kills me not to pick 91 when he switched hands against the Lakers. That was nuts.
How do you pick a Jordan one,
Well, this one was statistically ridiculous.
His best one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just his best one. It's by far the greatest statistical finals we've ever seen. He scored 55. That's the second highest total ever in a finals game.
Titles really means the most. We're talking about the greatest performances in NBA Finals history. That's our great debate today. EJ, you're up.
So for me, I'm going to go to 2006. It's the best finals performance I've ever seen personally. It was a surprise considering we thought it was going to be a coronation for one Dirk Nowitzki. Instead, it ended up being a coronation for Flash, as they called him back in the day.
Wade spinning, falling away. It's good. Wade with 29.
He does that so easily, and it's a spin move. He comes out of it, and it looks like it's in slow motion.
Dwayne Wade dominated the 2006 finals, averaged about 35, 36 points a game, and this is a time where we're not having the explosion of offensive performances what we see today. Him beating the Mavericks 4-2. They were down 0-2 in that series after dropping the first 2 games. Went 4 straight. And again, we talk about guard play, and we really hadn't seen anybody dominate really all facets of the game in that way since Mike. He had the low haircut, so he kind of looked like MJ with some of these high-flying moves, the spin moves, the turnaround fadeaways you heard in that clip right there. Wade was phenomenal in that series, is one that still sticks with me, even though I've seen now, 20, 30 NBA Finals since. I'm going with Dwayne Wade as my pick. 2006, best final performance ever.
Yeah, also out of nowhere, too, right? In a sense.
Out of nowhere, because he was a really good player. He was an all-star player. I don't think people really looked at him at that time saying this guy might be the best player in the NBA. And that conversation was being had after those finals because of how dominant he was.
A little controversial with how many foul calls he got.
He got a lot of foul calls, but, I mean... Look, that's a look. This is my case, okay?
Well, I mean, honestly,
all right, got a little help from the officials.
You had LeBron, I had Jordan. Everybody in this list got some help from the officials.
Fair point. All right, Nico, you're the new guy. Who had the greatest NBA Finals performance of all time?
All right, so I'm going to go with a player that won 3 consecutive finals MVPs.
Kobe Bryant off balance, and Shaquille O'Neal is there.
I really could have went with any of the 3 options, 2000, 2001, 2002, but I went with 2000, averaging 38 points per game, 16.7 rebounds, shot 61% from the field. It's like you look at those numbers, and I'll be the first to admit that I was 1 year old in 2000, so
that was
I do not remember
taking
watching
a slap
this.
Across the face, but continue.
I do not remember watching this live, but I looked at the numbers last night, and I was like, 61%? That's incredible. So I was like, that's got to be it for me.
Yeah. Nico, you know how this works. So big man numbers don't count. He's 7'2". Of course he's doing that. That's always been the take on checkout. Like, he's bigger and stronger. Yeah, of course he's scoring 36 a game. But yeah, that was awesome.
To Perloff's point, who did they play?
That's why, it's funny because you get into the Kobe thing too. It's like, oh, okay, so if you have Shaq as 3 of the greatest finals of all time, does that denigrate Kobe's 5 rings? I think so.
I love this idea that also because Nico was 1 year old when this happened, like, could we just lie to him about what happened? It's like, and Shaq, did you know that he only had 1 arm and he was doing all that? Like, could we just lie to you? We probably can't. Okay, great debate today. The greatest NBA Finals performance of all time. Andrew Bogusch is here.
I was roughly 2 months old when this happened, but that was 1980, so that's okay. This is Magic Johnson against the Sixers, the 1980s final. For the entire series, averaged 21 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 triple-doubles in the series. And you need to, at least in my estimation for this question, have one singular moment in the series. That, of course, is Game 6. No Kareem. He starts at center, 42, 15, 7. That's how they clinch. And I think I'm the only guy presenting a rookie to win Finals MVP.
Yep.
Magic in the 80s Finals.
Amazing one. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. It also takes out Perloff Sixers, so a little added bonus on that one.
Didn't even cross my mind.
I'm sure it didn't. Okay, so there you have it. You've got the great debate today, the greatest Finals performance of all time. We'll just go back around the horn quickly. Perloff?
93 Jordan.
I'm going to go 2016 LeBron James. EJ?
I'm going 06 Wade.
2000 Shaquille O'Neal.
And 1980 Magic Johnson.
Okay, so EJ, you put up the poll. You can only put 4 options, right? And you always leave one great debate answer off. Who's getting left off?
So Nico's a new guy, so unfortunately he's got to be left off.
So Shaq gets the...
Yeah. His Shaq numbers are pretty darn good, though.
Shaq only had 3 toes.
Awesome,
did you know that?
he kind of only does have 3 toes. Have you seen his feet?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I don't want to see Shaq's feet.
He keeps showing them off. Sorry, people in the morning who've seen them.
All right, Shaq would have, just a theory I've always had, like Shaq could have won more titles if the officials let Shaq play. Like, the only reason that the Pistons knocked him out is because they started calling fouls on Shaq. That's my opinion. Like, that guy could have won every year, Nico. I'm just telling you how it was.
And more MVPs. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, MVPs, well, he got out of shape later on, but there was a time, like, it was really hard to officiate him.
Yeah,
right? And that's
possible.
Because he would just bowl over guys. He was so much bigger and stronger. Like, I don't think he could do that in today's game, right? Like, he wouldn't be as dominant right now, or
would he? Was that
pre-All-Star
break or post-All-Star break this year? Because now you can murder people, and a few months ago you couldn't.
Yeah, and now he never hit a 3-pointer. I'm curious how he'd translate it. That would be awesome to see.
Well, to Shaq, though, I think he should have, like, living through that era, watching all the time, no one knew what to do with Shaq. Like, that should have made him most valuable just because you had to design whole defenses just to stop him. Nobody could figure it out. But to be fair, if he could have just hit the free throws, then the Hack-a-Shaq would have never worked, and he probably would have gotten a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And same, Will Chamberlain can shoot free throws, and like he's got those numbers too. We need a new Shaq, a new big man who can't be stopped. It's been a long time. Wembanyama is not Shaq. He plays outside.
No, it's different.
I feel like when Embiid is not settling for threes, he sometimes feels that like dominant where you just can't stop him.
But he's a finesse guy, though. He's a shooter.
Like Shaq.
No, he's not dunking on anybody, but he is just kind of just putting guys on the rim because he's so freaking big.
But Embiid, the thing that strikes me about Embiid's a crazy good shooter. Like, he's got beautiful touch. Shaq couldn't shoot at all.
No, and he wasn't asked to.
His form was terrible.
If Zion was bigger, they call him Baby Shaq, don't they? Who's Baby
Shaq?
So.
When you talked about how they officiate, the first thing I thought about was Zion, because even though they're kind of different, it is similar in that like, Zion can just go to the rim and like. Good luck getting in his way.
It's got a little of that
trying
feel.
to get in his way, and that's why Zion, he shoots such a super high percentage because he's shooting everything 1 foot away from the basket. I think Shaq would probably be kind of like that, especially young Shaq, like Orlando Magic Shaq.
Yeah, but Zion's obviously Zion brings the ball up. Zion starts his drives from 30 feet away. Shaq just turned around and dunked it on guys like Nico.
We have, you're welcome to weigh in.
There were 6'4" centers back in 2000.
How tall are you, Nico?
5'7".
Yeah. You would have had a problem matching up there. That would have been a swing that the Lakers would have liked.
Yeah, you don't need Pat Riley for that one.
I want to tell Nico more Shaq lies. Like he and Kobe got along really well all the time.
He
Great
was an
relationship.
awesome rapper. He was like him. then
Wait.
Biggie, then Tupac.
I mean, he did go platinum.
I'm not a good rapper. Was Shaq a bad rapper? Is that what that joke means?
Yeah.
He did go platinum though.
He's decent for an NBA player.
That actually told me he wasn't a great actor because I saw Shazam and that guy, like that was an Oscar snub.
Yeah. Along with Blue Chips, your favorite movie.
He was good in Blue Chips.
Blue Chips, he actually was pretty good at.
Blue Chips. Steel.
I thought he was fine.
What was his name? Something Boudreaux?
Neon
Bedeau.
A couple that we're leaving out here, and people are welcome to weigh in on the greatest NBA Finals performances of all time. I mean, Isaiah, incredible. I think we've probably left out.
Wait.
Well, we're talking about in losing. There can be some in losing performances. Jerry West, Isaiah.
I can't imagine his numbers. What, 88, 89?
1988, yeah.
He was part of a different thing. Like these guys, okay, whatever. I'm not going to debate. Who are the other ones?
Charles Barkley in losing fashion, obviously.
Why is everybody picking the losers?
I don't know.
Was
I'm
Barkley
saying,
that great?
Barkley was awesome in those finals.
Yeah.
That team.
He was awesome.
I mean, we just saw in a winning effort, Bill Walton just passed away. He was excellent in the finals.
Yep.
Oh, Bill Walton in 77 is a good one.
Also, in 77, or you can do that one. The other one is Dirk Nowitzki when they won.
I was going to say Dirk was awesome. It's like weird because his numbers don't tell the story of how dominant he was in that series.
He was amazing.
Yeah. And Isaiah, by the way, when they won in 90, I kind of forgot. He averaged 27-7.
Did
shot
he
54% from the field.
He averaged 27 in the finals.
He killed Terry Porter.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was his crowning moment. I kind of forgot about how well he played in that series.
So in 93, by the way, Charles was 27.3, 13 boards. Great, but still, it's hard to get. You had LeBron at 35 points, and I had MJ at 41 points. Like, this is a high list.
Yeah, Barkley, I just remember had that Game 5 performance that always sticks out to me. When they go to Chicago and everyone thinks the series is over. And they boarded up the windows.
I love that team.
Had like 40-something.
Remember Richard Dumas?
Leap off the windows.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, you never saw
talked
this.
to your clip. We could have heard a little Richard Dumas.
You weren't even alive for this series. How are you? Like, so
I
Nico
watched The
can
Last
know
Dance.
shit. What's that?
I watched The Last Dance.
I forgot about
interesting.
That literally, like, I feel like that's the best part of the whole thing is Jordan and Barkley talking about the 93 series.
Huh. Yeah, but there's like a semantics argument that you can't say that I'll always remember Barkley in Game 5 if you were not alive to watch it. You can't. Like, it's like you enjoyed it and experienced it. Particular verb is a weird choice.
Nico talking about the 2000 Lakers with Shaq. You couldn't have known the magic.
So I think
Through the crib.
but I think I can say I always think about it.
Yes.
But we could be perfectly familiar with older sporting events that we've seen highlights of.
We have to.
Yeah. I have no problem with Nico going to Shaq. You didn't have to preface it by saying you weren't there.
No, but it's just funny I think that we could lie to him about the peripheral stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I like that. But he actually says, "I apologize for doing Shaq from 2003." I mean, come on. What are you going to do? The only NBA you basically know, you don't even remember when Cleveland's 3-1 comeback. You were in middle school.
We're getting up to speed on all the big moments. Okay, guys, there we go. Greatest NBA Finals performance of all time. That's your great debate today. 855-212-4227. You can always watch us. YouTube.com/Infinity Sports Net, where someone has already changed their handle to EJ's Basement Spider in honor of the invasion of spiders that are coming to this neck of the woods.
Did you ever have conversations with the big spider like Adam Sandler in that Netflix movie? Like, I don't know if you see that one.
No, but I did sometimes think, and it's sad to say I thought this, but like, if I get a little spider bite, just saying.
Don't do it,
Spider-Man.
EJ. No.
Maybe there's a Spider-Man of Lehigh Valley.
And just when we think you can't get any nerdier.
There's no buildings to attach onto in Lehigh Valley. Like, go from barn to barn? How would you do that? Like, Wait, but you actually did grow up in Queens.
I grew up in Queens, yeah, but when I was living
real
when I
Peter
lived in the
Parker
basement, I was
territory.
in Lehigh Valley. So that time would be the time.
Is that how you got into comic books, by imagining yourself as Spider-Man?
No, I got into comic books because my parents.
So they didn't grow up either?
My dad and my uncle. Those. That's how I got into comic books.
Much like Spider-Man in the multiverse.
Oh yeah, well my uncles didn't get shot, so they're all alive. Thank goodness. Not going.
Good grief.
Maggie's lost a little bit
I
on
don't
that
know
one.
what you're talking about. I knew
Into
the spider.
We're getting a little
Spider-Man.
Spider-Versey there.
Yeah, I didn't know what
Nico,
that.
are you a comic book guy?
Not really.
Nico's on my side.
Maggie, you don't.
I've seen the Marvel movies though.
No, we're not on my side.
Wait, Maggie, you don't know that Spider-Man's uncle was killed?
I did not know that.
Oh my!
I knew that he got bit by a spider, and that's how he became Spider-Man.
And then the other thing is that his uncle got killed. Those are the only two things anyone has to know about Spider-Man.
Did he live with his aunt?
Right,
his uncle died.
Because his uncle, yeah.
I never asked questions. I'm a real New Yorker. Just kind of except for JFK. Then I got a lot of questions.
I put a poll up. Should Maggie know that Spider-Man's uncle was killed?
Wait, Maggie, you know what
By
comes
who?
with
The Green Lantern?
Yes. Yes,
Sure.
the Green Lantern comes. That's amazing. You knew that. You know what comes with great power, though, right?
Great responsibility.
See, you know what she
Came from
knows
his
the
uncle.
You want to
meta
know why?
message here.
Because Wu-Tang rapped about it.
They loved comic books.
Maggie wins, by the way, with that. That's a heck of a punch out.
That is.
Her
that
reference is
fair.
Wu-Tang, not a comic book. The rest
That's how
of
I
the
know.
room's out.
The only Tony Stark's reference I ever knew was because of Ghostface.
Yeah.
I can't believe, by the way, like she knew the Green Goblin. Like, where did that
sorry,
come from?
Goblin.
Yeah, she said Lantern.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, she
I
said
was
the
like,
Green
you were
Lantern
close.
killed him? That would
Sorry.
be. By the way, that's an interesting subplot for the next Spider-Verse.
I knew it was Willem Dafoe in the
He
movie.
didn't kill the
So
he
you
didn't-
have seen
he
that with
didn't
James
kill the uncle,
Franco?
though.
I just am aware of it generally. I
Good.
only saw the Toby Maguire one.
Great Thanksgiving movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, but like if people don't put like we always think about Christmas movies. Like people don't understand that's a Thanksgiving movie. Like
Oh,
Gather
like
Around the
Trains,
Family.
Planes, and Automobiles is a Thanksgiving movie.
yes, exactly. Like, gather around the family. Watch Willem Dafoe creepily put his fingers on a turkey.
Yeah, Maggie, you
Sort
know
of
the
cook.
upside down kiss with Kirsten Dunst, right?
Yeah, I don't think Yeah, that
You've
must
seen
be the one
meme,
I
yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
like,
the first
It was
one
a long
back,
time
right?
ago.
Yeah,
Shot
that
in my
was
old neighborhood.
around 2000 or 99 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 02, I
Oh,
think.
what? Is it that new?
02, yeah. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like 02.
Wow. Okay.
And there's been Maggie, there's been 4 different
That's
actors who
new.
played Spider-Man. Yeah. Well, I was saying,
Nico
like,
wasn't alive. That's a new movie.
well, considering that there's been 3 other actors who've already played Spider-Man since then, it's pretty crazy that it was only 2002.
Yeah, and I don't know any of those guys either.
Tom Holland, those are great.
No, Tom Holland.
Those
Yeah,
movies
those are
are
good ones.
hysterical.
Yeah, your definition of good and my definition of good is just different.
So Spider-Verse is the cartoon is unquestionably good. That is great. I mean, like Oscar, like that should be nominated every time. They
I
come out
mean,
with
the
one.
first one won an Oscar.
Yeah.
So the NBA Finals, back to that. Great debate today
And
is
Wu-Tang.
the greatest finals, the greatest Wu-Tang song, the greatest finals performance of all time. You could weigh in, again, 855-212-4227. You are always part of the show, and your opinion is always welcome. Coming up, we've got more for you, including the most gifted player of all time? Question mark? Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Are we doing... I have to look at the rundown here. Are we doing our bad Caitlin Clark takes today at some point?
We can do that. Yeah, we're doing it today.
I think we should tease it because I'm so excited for this. It is the year 2024, and there are many a bad Caitlin Clark take out of there. So we have to decide on that. Luckily, I think so far you and I have avoided. I don't know. Do you think you've ever? We both have controversial Caitlin Clark's takes in our past. Things that have gotten us in trouble.
I don't think any of them have been particularly bad, maybe controversial, but that doesn't mean bad.
That's not how the world viewed either of our takes. Mine was viewed as very bad to the point where it was on CBS News calling it bad.
When Gayle King called you out, I was like, I'm stepping away.
Yeah, and my daughter...
I would defend you no matter what.
And my daughter Lucy called and she loves you, called your take bad. So yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
But let's see. EJ is the executive producer of the show. Are we ready right now to do bad Caitlin Clark takes or no?
No.
Okay.
I
And
think we
will
should
put that
tease
to the
that.
back burner.
But wait, just real quick. You understand your take was bad on Caitlin Clark.
I don't think my take was bad.
It was bad.
Are we rehashing draft night?
Yes, we do. But
Because I called her outfit trendy.
too trendy.
I said she carried the torch
Yeah.
on a long-standing tradition at the NBA draft of regrettable fashion choices because it was too trendy. I never said she didn't look good.
Mhm.
Said it was trendy, and I compared her to Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James and
Mhm.
other great players who had bad fashion faux pas.
And what was the reaction?
Not great. It was swift. It was mighty.
Decisive.
It was a big fat L for me online. If you're asking what the response was,
I like it.
doesn't mean it was bad though. I think this is the problem when these takes go viral. It's because there's a little truth in it. A little truth.
Oh.
If I say the sky's purple, nobody's going to respond to it. If I say, if it's so wildly outrageous, people ignore it.
But Pat McAfee. Well, it's different. That wasn't the take was bad. His verbiage was bad.
Phrasing was beyond awful.
Which is he used
White B.
Yeah, white B.
Not okay.
His take was fine, really. Well, not fine, but one of his takes was the referees need to call more fouls.
That was an add-on at the end.
Well,
that was the kick save at the end of the thing.
Well, wasn't the whole thing like they're being too physical with Caitlin and stop hating on her?
No, the thing was.
What was the thing? What was the thesis?
Well, I watched it. The thing was stop giving credit to the whole rookie class for this bump and spike in interest in the WNBA because that's not true. It's not the whole rookie class. It's just Caitlin. That was the take.
That was the take?
That was the take.
That was
one of the takes.
There was also a take of like, hey, we don't just like her because she's white. That was also part of that because she's
right.
Like,
it's
like
not
because
just because
for,
and
what
because
she did
how great
in
she was
Iowa.
in college. So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of takes, like everybody. The story keeps moving and evolving. So there's been lots of takes.
Right. I just don't think McAfee got killed because of the take. I think it was really the term.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the take is whatever you want. I mean, the opinion on it is that's fine, valid. He had all these facts to back it up about ratings and all that stuff about why she's the singular force and it's not about the rookie class. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Like women don't want to be called that, whether it's meant to be a compliment or not. Not by a man. Definitely not.
Let's get real here for 1 second.
Okay, go.
Is it good or bad for the WNBA? I do feel like men have to be careful talking about the WNBA.
You don't have to use the B word.
No, you absolutely don't. But there's been a lot of people. I know people have lost their job because they've been talking about this at WNBA.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's been some real problems. Like
People losing their job?
The LA Times piece was a problem. I mean,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Refresh everybody
it was
on
the
that.
college. Well, basically, it was a college basketball call. I shouldn't have said WNBA. There was this article that said all these really tacky things about UCLA.
That was the UCLA LSU thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's just been a lot of trouble. Like guys have gotten in a lot of trouble talking about women's basketball.
That columnist did not get fired, though.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I just think that there's been a lot of people who have like sort of stepped in it. Probably is it because it's revealing sexism or is it because like I don't know, is it political correctness? I just think it's interesting that there's this one sport that is causing all these problems for media members.
But is it sexist? Is that the conversation we're having now?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we're all trying to, like many things, I think it's trying to figure out why is this popular?
Right.
Why is there a spike in popularity right now? And I think there's there's a gender aspect to it. There's a racial aspect to it. I think that's difficult to talk about because that's always an uncomfortable topic, but a necessary one. And I think there's also a credit topic. It's like, is there a vying for credit here on Caitlin's success? Is it just because of her or is it because of the women who came before her? And I think the answer is both, but that seems to be part of it. And also this idea that like women are like a women on women crime here. And I'm not just talking about hard fouls. It's like words like petty and jealous and, resentful and all of that stuff. To me, the word jealousy or envious or whatever, if you're talking about the veterans who maybe want a little of what Caitlin Clark's getting, I don't assign that to women. Maybe some people do. It's like if you call it jealous, that means you're making a gender specific thing there. It's like this is this is women, that's what they're tagged with. I think men get totally jealous, totally envious. So I don't see that word as being charged And that's a specifically woman's thing.
Well, I just think this new explosion of women's college basketball is because it's new on the scene, like how popular it is. It's causing a lot of it's taking sports to a socio-political place. I think that's what is
which we've been to before, which we've had issues with before.
Yeah. It's kind of like, yes, definitely. It's one of those kind of stories. We've had many. I mean, the biggest one in really my career probably is Colin Kaepernick.
Definitely, for me too.
That was, and that caused a lot of problems for some people who weren't careful about what they said, you know. So it's interesting to me that it sort of veers into that lane, because the other thing, what happens too, is now people are getting into the sport and watching it, like then it becomes a sports conversation too. And it's just interesting to me. I was curious if you noticed, like, that people are saying things like, wait, that didn't sound right. That didn't sound like, wait, what?
Well, I think the other part, it was very obvious. If you listen, we could talk, well, we're going to do this, a new segment, the bad Caitlin Clark takes, because we want to make fun of it a little because it's so out of control. But I think that the language there with McAfee, like, it just got real loose over there, you know?
Yeah, that one was egregious. That one was obvious.
But he wasn't saying it. He meant it as a compliment.
Yeah.
So he's probably thinking, why is everyone piling on me? Because I'm just saying it's a compliment. And I don't think women, I know this, I am a woman. I don't want to be called, I don't want to be referenced like that by men.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing women to women. You have a friend group, maybe women call each other that. That's between us. It's different when a man says it.
I know there's one thing I've told you guys a bunch off air about. I'll tell you again here. I feel like a lot of the controversy that surrounded the conversation around Caitlin Clark really feels like this is a supercharged, super accelerated conversation that we had with men's basketball for decades, right? So we had Texas Western, then we have Georgetown, then we have Duke, Christian Laettner,
Magic Bird, right in there,
70s and 80s. The Fab Five, UNLV, the 2000s Duke, JJ Redick, like all those. We had all these phenomena. Adam Morrison. We had all these phenomena happen over decades, right? And we saw how we all kind of evolved and learned how to talk about these issues. It took us a long time to kind of get our arms around them. We're still working on that.
There was definitely an issue with Jeremy Lin. That was not perfect.
Lin, right? But we've been following men's basketball for on a larger scale, majority of us, for much longer than women's basketball. And this Caitlin Clark popularity has been so fast and so in your face. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of those growing pains happening in 2 years. Like all those, like there were issues with how you talked about Duke, how you talked about the Fab Five, how you talked about Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. And I guess those issues were adjudicated over decades, where now, again, not saying that nobody's perfect, we have issues now, but people know how to handle those a little bit better. Where I think now we're seeing everybody trying to learn on the fly how to handle all these issues that we've already dealt with in one sport, now with the women.
I mean, it's a great point. Larry Bird didn't Bird have to have a press conference during the Eastern Conference Finals to address Isaiah, saying that he's only good because he's white?
Yeah, that was Dennis Rodman, but yeah.
Oh, Rob, sorry. Yeah, I know, like, you're right there where it's like we forget how charged many topics were.
Well, and there's another part, I think, where people are rushing to say it's one thing about Caitlin. It's either because she's white or because she's different and she's a sharpshooter or because blah, blah, blah. And it's just never going to be one thing. And I think we got to get comfortable with that. It's whatever lens you're looking at it through.
I do think that there are some men who are uncomfortable with the explosion of the WNBA.
In what way?
I just think, like, there's some guys who are territorial. Oh, that's a woman's sport. Okay. You know there's some Neanderthal stuff out there.
Well, that's fine. I mean, and I get that, but they don't have to watch, right? Like, if you always think that women's basketball is never going to live up because they don't dunk or whatever, then you'll always have that opinion. I think what's interesting now is men really have come over.
Yeah.
And honestly, I hope this conversation doesn't alienate men. I don't think it has. I think everyone has an opinion, but for the sport to grow, men have to be on board. I know Bill Burr's thing about where were women and why weren't women supporting the WNBA. Sports fans, though, if we're talking about like by and large, there's just way more men that are sports fans. That's just the way it is. So men have to be on board here. So I hope that men aren't scared off by this because the WNBA needs male fans.
You know what men are really into now is women's college softball. That is like,
I was going to say the Edmonton Oilers.
No, I'll tell you. I'll bet you.
Men are really into the Edmonton Oilers, one specific fan.
Oh, I hear that. No, but ironically, like as big as that Edmonton Oilers fan is, I'm telling you, my guy friend's talking about, hey, are you watching Oklahoma right now? It is the most bizarre. Because ESPN force feeds you so much women's college softball. Do you guys notice that? Am I the only one who's in a friend circle who's all they talk about is women's college softball?
That's not in my friend circle. Not in mine
either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just me and you. But thank you for
No,
including me.
I mean, like,
Oh, you were talking to Bogusch this whole
All the
time?
It's
football-
actually
Like
not.
a friend.
It's not a text chain. It's really just you guys going back and forth. It's not a
No,
group
softball.
chat.
Oh, yeah.
all the
softball.
football nerds are all in on college softball because it's so awesome to watch. Like the pitcher's right there, the third baseman's right there. It's a great sport.
It's on all day long.
It's
now,
on
too.
all
It's
day long.
perfect.
You're like,
You can
if
bet on it.
You go to look for the hockey game. The first thing you're going to see is like, oh, let's see what's going on in the hockey game. It's a women's college softball game. It's on right now. Actually, not right now. Anyway, sorry. I thought we were all on board with that.
It might be, but it might be an age thing. I mean, maybe just not my group.
Well, Andrew
people.
Kaplan is in the chat saying big road trip talk between you two. If Bogusch actually agrees now to come with you to San Antonio, you guys can be chit-chatting about softball all the way.
I didn't invite Bogusch.
Yeah.
What do you mean agree?
See, there it is. There's still lines.
Bitterness.
I thought when we took the picture in the car, I thought it was all said and done.
I thought you were going to get a little lonely, but that's just me. But you want to do this trip solo? Perloff's all, planning out all of his affiliates with
my
Dave
God.
Marinick and how this is going to go.
And you're going to be gone for like 3 weeks now. That's another logistical problem for me.
Yeah,
When
by
it was
the way,
down
get
and
used to
back.
that chair. You're going to need to scoot over in case Pearl has any kind of car
Bogusch, I
trouble.
know you're desperate to get away from your family, just like me. I get it, but I thought of it first.
Yeah, I just wanna-
Perloff is like Angel Reese. He's like, I was there. I was
Yeah,
also
no,
there.
me too.
Bogusch is like Angel Reese.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm Caitlin Clark.
Bogusch is a little more.
You're
Angel
part of the rivalry. No, I'm just
Does Angel Reese want a friend? Is that what's going on here? I mean, that's all my motivation
Well,
is.
don't worry.
is
You'll be passing through Chicago, so you can say hi to her.
pick her up.
I would say yes, Angel Reese. By the way, just
Perloff
like
would rather
the
ride with
Chicago
Angel.
to Nashville. Yeah, that would be super fun.
That's not a bad bit, though. If you could find a way to pick up people, prominent people along the way and drive for like a half an hour, chit chat, put them on the radio, maybe have a third person there like me to videotape the interaction.
Oh, this is like instead of carpool, like no one's doing the karaoke version of this, but just like a carpool with
Right.
Perloff going all the way to San Antonio.
Right. You're rolling
To
through Knoxville.
apologize to Wemby, by the way.
Bro, I could barely figure out a way to get in a car to New Jersey, let alone pick up Angel Reese, an A-list superstar. Like, if I could pull that off, that would be, that would be amazing. Like, oh, okay, I'm going through Chicago. Maybe Caleb Williams will take some time off from OTA.
Exactly.
And then,
Come on.
I'll go,
Find your guy Connor
Go through
Bedard.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Take some time off.
Maybe say hi to Luca. Maybe he'll go for a spin with me. Like, what are you talking about?
that
How
seems
am I
like
going to get
Nashville,
these
pick
guys in the car?
Pick up Carrie Underwood, and she'll drive with you to Arkansas.
Yeah, that's a great plan. You know what? Why don't I stop by Tampa Bay, pick up Tom Brady? He can come.
No.
No, I'm
I
not
didn't
getting
say
any
Tom
of these
Brady.
people.
I said like a college coach, or
You said Angel Reese.
Yeah, Angel Reese could give you 10 minutes in a car.
No,
while you're going through Chicago to get to San Antonio.
She's a gigantic
She should
star.
definitely not get in the car with Perloff.
Yeah, the last time we talked about Angel Reese in a car, she said people were banging on her window randomly.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was
Right.
like, what the hell's going on? So,
No, Perloff's harmless. See, I'm sure you're a good driver. Although I've driven with you.
Well, regardless, like Angel Reese, she's way out of my league to start. I'll get like the 7th person on Chicago's team. Maybe.
You gotta start
Kennedy
somewhere.
Carter ain't getting in the car with your car.
Yeah, Kennedy Carter.
Yeah.
Perloff
That
comes out with a black eye. Like,
that
what
would be
happened?
interesting. That
All of a
would
sudden,
be fun.
Perloff just gets thrown out of the car, like DJ Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out of the Fresh Prince mansion.
Imagine we just get to the next.
Now Kennedy Carter's driving the
Yeah,
car.
we get to the next stop, and it's just Kennedy Carter doing the show. We're like, "Where's Perloff?" He's like, "Well, I threw that fool out on the highway."
He kept calling me Kennedy.
It's the Maggie and Kennedy show now.
And now I get blamed because I wasn't there to pick Perloff up. Bad teammate. All right. Well, Perloff's driving to San Antonio.
Alone.
That's that. We didn't even barely leave any time for headlines. What do you have?
At this point, why even bother? The Yankees are now 105-42 since 2002 against the Twins, following last night's 5-1 win in the Bronx. Luis He allowed just 1 hit, 3 walks over 6. On a smaller scale of domination are the Rays and the Marlins.
As Lau swings and drives one down the right field line toward the corner, and it is fair and gone. Wow, for Lau.
All right, I'll allow it. Brandon Lau drove in 5 total in the Rays' 9-5 victory in Miami. They have now won 22 of the last 25 meetings with their fellow Floridians.
Kind of funny audio there. Sounds like he's in a closet a bit.
Yeah, that's my passive-aggressive way to try and prove a point around here, is that we have old computers that are malfunctioning, and
Oh, that's us? That's not them?
that's us.
Oh.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Didn't see that one.
This is my subdued boomer method. You mentioned that before. A boomer will just go on the air and yell about things that are not working around here. I'm going to play bad audio.
Yeah.
And eventually someone will hear it and go, why is that happening? And I'll go, well, because the computer stinks or something else, and then it'll get addressed.
But if we're going to do a priority list, I just thought of a new one. Can we get some soap in the bathroom, too, before we fix the computers?
Not even the second soap.
I guess
And now
soap
they're
can
turning
go
off
first.
EJ's phone.
Yeah, they're coming after me now.
All right, soap can go first.
How
And then
long?
new
How
machines.
long have you been doing this subversive sort of a dark underworld kind of tactics?
I usually like to play bad audio to anger Pete, but Pete's not here today. So today is specifically to get help for the newsroom.
So they did ask us for a punch list. Were you there for that?
I was made aware of it after the fact. Yes. So here's
it was before the fact.
No. I was not there when the list was born. And then you told me about it, and here's me adding my 2 cents to the list.
This is you publicly adding to the list.
Get a computer that doesn't double down audio so it doesn't come in with an echo.
See, Bogusch is the guy who doesn't keep things in-house. I went around, I was like, hey, Bogusch, list going around, what things can get fixed. He's like, besides new chairs, I don't really have much. I'm like, okay.
Is that real? Did that happen?
He's the guy that goes to the media and says, actually, here's what I got to say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I try to keep this in-house, okay?
Yeah. First of all, Maggie brought it up, not me.
I did bring up the punch list on air as a positive.
Yeah. And
changes are coming.
Right, yeah, but things are happening.
They've solicited changes. We have a new boss. He's very wide-eyed about this. I think he's like, yeah, we can get you new stuff.
Oh, these things cost money? My fault.
I believe Ryan's going to get this done. The new chairs, I think, are coming.
I can see soap happening.
Actually, to quote Ryan said, well, I guess it can't hurt to ask.
That's what he did say. He did never promise on anything.
He never said
so what's the worst happen? They say no. It's like, yep.
It'd be really bad for us.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Nico's going to be the only one left standing. He hasn't complained once. He's happy to be here.
Well, he's 13. He doesn't know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
The best basketball player he's ever seen in his entire life is Russell Westbrook. Anywho's.
Nico, where were you when Micah the Mad Dog launched Sports Talk Radio in 1989?
Were your parents even married in 1989?
I was going to say, where were your parents? Probably not. Nico could definitely be your kid. No.
Yeah.
Yeah?
What year were you born in?
99.
Yeah, I mean, technically.
Yeah. Well, are you saying we need to get a genetic test?
Maggie's putting two together. Too many of these conspiracy
theories.
Are
you adopted?
Oh,
God, sorry. That was awkward.
Nico.
Please.
Give me Perloff vibes.
Please don't be adopted. Please don't be adopted.
I'm not.
Are you strangely good at basketball?
Far from it.
Okay. That's going to be a no. All right. You're in the clear, Pearl.
What is that jersey you're wearing today? Is
JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy.
Are you a Michigan guy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
I did not go to the school. I have relatives that did. But
it's funny,
diehard
though.
fan.
I love it because it's just, it's like, yeah, of course you get a JJ McCarthy jersey. They just won a national title. There's just so many better people that went to Michigan. Although Jim Harbaugh said he's the best Michigan quarterback of all time.
Yeah, right. There's something that feels off about a random non-Michigan. Well, you're a fan, so it works.
We have two Michigan fans over here. Colton out there, also a Michigan fan.
Yeah, he's got Michigan gear, too.
He's wearing a national title shirt. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
This is what happens when
I
you win.
was like, did Michigan do something yesterday? Would they get a big recruit? I was like, why is I couldn't figure it out.
I got a killer celebrity sighting that is Michigan related. I'll tell you after the break.
Yeah, we got to go to break. Wow, what
a
a
Michigan
tease.
legend.
Perloff, whoa, with the sale. Bogusch, thank you for that. We'll pay that off next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back. Perloff left us on a cliffhanger at the end of the last segment. He saw a Michigan sports superstar, a Wolverines legend walking around the streets of New York, and we're going to guess who it is.
Okay, who's really tall. I'll give you that hint.
I'm going to guess Jalen Rose.
Makes sense. Does some work in New York. Nope.
EJ?
Karis LeVert.
That'd be cool, but I'm not sure I'd recognize Karis LeVert necessarily, and if he wasn't in uniform, but nope.
Nico?
So the only clue we're getting is that he was tall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Webber.
Wow. So
Can we go around again? Lamar Woodley.
Yeah, you guys got a hit. Ray Jackson and Jimmy King, and it was new Brooklyn Nets assistant coach Juwan Howard. And the only reason I knew he was a new Nets assistant coach is because he was walking around in a Nets hat. Then I Googled 3 hours earlier he had signed with the Nets.
Really?
Did everybody? I think EJ you might have known that. I had no idea.
On that staff, yeah.
That's a really interesting hire.
That, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is how quickly the dismissal from Michigan happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole story is pretty wild.
I never really understood that whole thing. He was so good, and then they got so bad so fast.
And there was like infighting and strife and something that happened with the trainer and a whole lot of drama. Listen, when Michigan does like big dramatic things, they really do them. You know, Jim Harbaugh, the Connor Stallion stuff. We spent months talking about that. They win the national title anyway, but yeah, I mean, it was Juwan Howard, a legend, comes back. The first season went well, right?
They were number 1 seed. They should have went to the Final Four.
Then he gets the dust up with the Wisconsin assistant coach.
Right.
And then he got suspended for a lot of games. And then all of a sudden they were just awful. Like Michigan basketball just fell off.
He's going to be a very good NBA coach, too, because he's a guy like Udonis Haslem who's hung on for 10 years. They put him on the bench because he was so good with young players and knows the game so well. I feel like he could be... Could he be an NBA coach at some point? Why not?
Definitely.
I mean, JJ Redick is about to get hired. Why not Juwan Howard? He's got more experience than Redick.
Yeah, usually tall guys do not get the coaching jobs, though. Like 6'10", that's kind of like centers. They don't make them coaches usually.
Yeah,
Kevin McHale was a coach for a long time.
Patrick Ewing always says that he thinks that's why he wasn't taken seriously as a head coaching candidate.
I know, but then he did start coaching and it was bad.
I know. Well, that's what I always say. But he's not the only guy to say that. I think who'd you just say, Pro? You just named somebody. I think that person. Kevin McHale. Sorry,
that's what I said. Yeah.
I think he's also talked about that.
Yeah, there's always a bias. I mean, Nico might be a Shaq super fan, even though I never saw him play. Nobody would hire Shaq to be the coach because they're like, Shaq can't teach you anything because you're not built like Shaq. You got to have the 6'4" guy.
Kareem
like Darvin Ham.
He wanted to be a head coach for the Lakers. He never really got a serious interview.
Did he want to be? I didn't know that.
He was on I think he was on one of Phil's staffs. Like, not like he was like a very special assistant, but he was on the bench.
Yeah.
And he never became a head coach.
I know, but I ask you, do you think that Kareem not becoming the coach was only because he was tall? I think Kareem was at times an adversarial relationship with the press. At times, he can be a little prickly.
Adversarial with the Lakers.
Adversarial with the Lakers, with teammates. I mean, he's not. Do you need a coach not to be warm and fuzzy necessarily? He's a great player, but
no, I think he's too tall. Like you're talking to a team and you're 7'3". Like the 6'1" point guard is not going to hear you in the huddle.
Everyone's tall in the NBA. Except for like
Muggsy Bill Russell coached, but generally though, I do think there is a bias against centers. I mean, Ewing used to talk about that. He can't come on the Dan Patrick Show all the time. He's like, people don't think the big men. They think it was all just being big. Like they don't think that they have like the genius for the game. But no, it's funny. I can't picture Kareem in a press conference being coach. He wouldn't have the patience.
Yeah, for the stupid questions he would get.
Kareem is not. Oh yeah, he is. I picture more a Stan Van Gundy type being.
Imagine asking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, what was your mindset in the fourth quarter?
Oh, the in-game interview? In-game, oh, God. Ali LaForce would be like, Kareem. Yeah.
By the way, we got to stop with asking about the mindset. What's the mindset going into this winner-go-home game? The mindset is, I can't wait to get to the beach. What do you think the mindset is?
That's a tough interview, though, Maggie. You have to admit.
Oh, I have got nothing but respect for all those sideline reporters, but maybe we need a new question beyond the mindset.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I think my new favorite person in sports is got to be CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is now my new favorite. We'll tell you why. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. CJ Stroud is out here, Perloff, with sports takes. They're thought out. He's got plenty to say. He started a firestorm on these $1 million worth of game podcast by simply stating first that he would much rather have the career of Eli Manning than Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, that's a juicy, juicy sports topic, but that wasn't all he said.
Yeah, I mean, that's a current player saying all I care about is winning titles, not individual achievement.
Right.
Which kind of sounds like that's not such a hot take because that's what players are supposed to say. That's like sounds like a bit of a lie, right? Like that's what you're supposed to say.
Okay, well, we want to play three of his hottest takes that he had on this $1 million worth of game podcast. I want to let you decide the one you agree with and the one you most agree with and the one you most disagree with. So here is Stroud saying he would rather be Eli Manning than Rodgers. Here you go.
If you had to pick a career to have, I'm going to have Aaron Rodgers' career or I'm going to have Eli Manning's career. Who career are you taking?
You want the rings, dog. You don't want.
That's all that matters, the rings.
Eli got two.
Okay. Does he know about Eli every other year he made the playoffs when he didn't win a playoff game? Like, he realizes these 2 runs for Eli Manning were total outliers, right?
I think it doesn't matter. You got your judge. You said it was ring culture in the NBA. Actually, I don't think he really cares. I don't think he's doing a deep dive on the analytics here. But yes.
More from CJ Stroud. His love of Matthew Stafford we found out about. Here is CJ complimenting Stafford.
Hold on. If you give Matthew Stafford a chance like Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee he might have had more rings, for sure. I think Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford had more rings than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he could have another ring probably.
I'd say he had like 3, 4.
All right, Matthew Stafford, if he had played for Green Bay and maybe Aaron Rodgers plays for the Lions when they were going back and forth in the NFC North, then he would have 3 or 4 rings. Okay, more from CJ Stroud, talking about Tom Brady as his mentor, and again, some shade at Rodgers.
Talk to Tom about this because Tom Brady's he's a good mentor to me, and I appreciate him, man. He's helped me a ton.
So Tom keep it all the way raw with you.
Yeah, okay. And what he tell me is this right here. I'm about to tell you. It's just his teammates and how he treats his teammates. So I think that's where it falls off is we don't know how Aaron Rodgers treats his teammates, but you can guarantee that Tom Brady treats his teammates right because how he got them rings. Because he'll tell you he didn't do it on his own.
Yeah, I mean, a little oversimplification of the Brady story, but I get what he's talking about. I don't think it was just because of his teammates. There was a lot going on and why Brady was able to get those 7 Super Bowls. But, okay, so CJ Stroud, rather be Eli Manning than Aaron Rodgers. Matthew Stafford would have 3 or 4 rings if he played for the Packers. And basically saying Brady, one, because he's a great teammate and not really sure that Aaron Rodgers is a great teammate. Perloff, which of these CJ Stroud opinions do you find you agree with the most?
Well, I don't agree that Stafford would have won 3 or 4 with the Packers because the Packers' defense let them down in a lot of key spots. And also Stafford, who knows, the weather games that Aaron lost, he might have lost too. So I don't agree with that one. I don't agree I'd rather be Eli than Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is top 8 all-time at worst quarterback. Eli is not. So I guess the third one. Now, I'm not in the locker room, so I'm nervous about commenting on this, but it seems like Tom Brady was the ultimate teammate and Aaron Rodgers is not. That one rings more true. But I know Tom Brady was definitely the ultimate teammate.
No, I think Brady was a great teammate. I think part of it was, he never allowed himself to be bigger than the team. He allowed Belichick to really go at him in film sessions, and it kind of gave permission for Belichick to do it to everyone else, too. It wasn't until very late in their careers that Brady wanted just a little bit more power, I think, and wanted Alex Guerrero in the building and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just like I think CJ's point is correct that Tom's former teammates talk about Tom in a completely different way than Aaron Rodgers' former teammates talk about Aaron Rodgers. Now, Rodgers has a lot of buddies. It's not like he's unpopular. Like him and AJ Hawk are famously best friends and all that stuff. But I think Tom, like the way the Patriots talk about Tom is like he was really the perfect leader. So, and by the way, that's a high bar. I don't think there's any shame in not being Tom Brady.
Yeah, and I wonder if Aaron Rodgers is even trying to make up for some of maybe missteps that he may have had in Green Bay and trying to make up for that now. Like, there was always the idea, whether this is true or not, Rodgers didn't really have a lot of time for young players, right? For rookie players and stuff like that. I think with the Jets, he's trying to make up for that, like really trying to be there for teammates, be a mentor, teacher, taking guys out, stuff like that.
What? Really? I mean, that's all.
You don't think Rodgers is kind of putting it on, like, especially last year? You don't think he was going over the top to be like, I love it here and this and be in the camaraderie with the locker room? It felt like he went overboard on that.
He wasn't even there last year.
No, I'm talking about training camp. Like, yeah, all the lead up. He went to every Broadway show. He's at Madison Square Garden multiple nights in 1 week.
Right. But that felt like felt like he just got there and I agree, he wanted to prove a point, but it doesn't feel like that, was that sustainable. A lot of people said like he should have been around the team in different ways. He was in California a lot after the injury, right? I don't know. I think that's a way more complicated thing. Like you're saying, while Aaron Rodgers has proven to be, you're not saying this, but nobody can say Aaron Rodgers has proven to be a good teammate with the Jets because we have no idea. The guy's played 4 snaps.
Oh, I get it. I think he's like making a point to try to, he's like, everyone's got a nickname. He knows everybody's name. He's talking about how important it is to get to know everybody.
Yeah, but that was in front of the cameras. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I think he's overcompensating for it.
Yeah.
Okay, CJ Stroud talking about some of his hottest, answering questions really about these sports takes. Him saying that Matthew Stafford, might as well stay on Rodgers here, saying that Stafford would have more rings than Aaron Rodgers if Stafford was in Green Bay. Listen, I understand the love for Matthew Stafford. He's a great quarterback, and he was awesome. The one thing I'll say where I kind of understand where Stroud is coming from is Matthew Stafford played for the Lions for, 12? How many years?
Yeah, a long time.
10, I don't remember exactly how many years it was. He played in 3 playoff games. 3. And never really got the chance until he got to L.A. with the Rams to even go on a run. And what happened when he did go on that run? He was great. He was awesome in that run to the Super Bowl. Took out Tom Brady in Tampa. Remember, Brady tried the furious comeback, and Brady held him off with that awesome pass to Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford was clutch in that run. So maybe where I can get here with Stafford would have been great in Green Bay if he had the team that Rodgers did, was give Stafford more opportunities to make the playoffs, and maybe you'll see what he had. Stafford was even good this past year. They lost in Detroit, his old stomping grounds, by 1 point.
So are you down with my take that Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer now? It sounds like you're on board.
I don't know.
I mean, you laughed at me hard when I said that the first time.
I did. Because
he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, he might go to the Hall of Fame, but do I consider him a slam dunk Hall of Famer? Am I saying first ballot? I don't think so.
Okay, fine.
Because CJ Stroud loves him all of a sudden now? No, I'm saying I could see where he would get to this opinion, which is if he had just been able to play in more playoff games. But to be fair to Stafford, he had one of the all-time great receivers on his team.
Yeah, you're semanticing out of this. Like, you laughed at me when I said Matthew Stafford's going to the Hall of Fame. You're like, well, he might go there, but I don't consider him a first ballot. Come on.
I don't think this bolsters the Matthew Stafford Hall of Fame case.
It's a hypothetical about Green Bay.
If Mike Vick played on different teams that had more talent, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Well, he had a big timeout there.
I don't know. I mean,
the dog things.
Yeah, even though, I don't know if that's true. You really think Vic definitely? I'm not sure.
Those Atlanta teams that he was taking to the playoffs were garbage.
Yeah, but that's why he could shine like that, because that's why
he had no choice but to shine like that.
Yeah. He had to do everything, and it was awesome to watch. But you're right. That wasn't going to last. I don't know. I'm not sure Mike Vick. Yeah, you're right. If he had the right team.
If Cam Newton played on better teams,
he got to a Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He's a funny one. I would have guaranteed he was headed to the Hall of Fame. When he won that MVP, I'm like, that's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Too. Injuries, same with Vic.
Yeah, he told Dan Patrick that he thinks he's a Hall of Famer because he's also believes he, and then we're talking about Cam Newton now, belongs under the game changer category. Yeah. Like, do you have Josh Allen if you don't, without Cam Newton, do you have Josh Allen? Stuff like that.
Right. Well, Cam Newton, I mean, his career really fell off. Like, he was definitely headed towards a Hall of Fame trajectory. There was no doubt. He just got hurt. I remember the game after the Super Bowl. Remember he played the Broncos, and the Broncos hit him 8 different places, and he was injured. He never came back from that. By the way, guess how old he is right now? He's 35. Why isn't he playing NFL quarterback right now?
He'll ask you the same thing, but now he's on to his budding media career. So we're talking about more CJ Stroud giving us some fun sports takes when he was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and then one that really took off, his idea that Eli Manning, he'd rather be Eli Manning than Aaron Rodgers. And Eli has the 2 amazing runs. He'll always be able to say that he took out Tom Brady's best Patriots team. And Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great player. Perloff, I'm surprised you don't agree with this more because you think MVPs are kind of meaningless.
Well, no, I just think Aaron Rodgers is awesome, though, as a football player. It's not just the MVPs. It's they dominated the sport for a decade.
Listen, Rodgers is definitely the better quarterback. Though.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I can say about Eli.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Eli. I think Eli will get into the fame because of the Super Bowls and because of his last name. I think that the other thing about Eli is it feels like you're only remembering the positives about Eli and the times that he, in some ways, kind of overachieved, right? We talk about him, he was the Iron Man, right? He never missed a game until he got benched for Geno Smith, or he always got hit and got back up and all these things. We tend to remember all the positive Eli things. not the things about, again, never won a playoff game outside of those 2 runs to the Super Bowl. Eli, would have terrible games, but then pad stats at the end so that it would look somewhat representative. I mean, there were definitely things about Eli that were not perfect.
Well, I always say about Eli, nobody, except maybe now Kirk Cousins, throws a more catchable ball. He gets so much air under it. The unfortunate part is a lot of times that was a cornerback on the other team who was catching. Dude threw a lot of interceptions.
Took a lot of sacks, too.
Yeah, I mean... but I think CJ Stroud answered that question the right way, because as a quarterback, you have to say it's all about team achievement and Super Bowl rings. It's not about awesome individual achievement. So I think that was sort of a manipulative answer. Like he knows that's the right thing to say. He's a quarterback.
Do you think he believes that though?
No, he clearly would want to be Aaron Rodgers, right? Nobody wants to be Eli Manning over Aaron Rodgers. It's like, would you want to be the family guy, or do you want to be this stud single dude out there dating amazing women all the time? Like, you want to be the swashbuckler. You want to be Aaron Rodgers. Maggie, do you think there's a single person ever who wanted to be Eli Manning over Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. I mean, Eli's got it pretty good. I mean, the other thing about Eli is legend in New York City, which Aaron Rodgers is trying to be, which he's not yet. And the other part, Eli Manning, for a long time, had made the most money of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. Eli Manning held on to that title. So it's pretty good to be Eli.
CJ's flat out lying. That's a lie, and I like it.
My dog's name was Eli.
Because of Eli Manning?
Yes.
Solid
I wanted to be that guy when I was 12 years old. Are you kidding?
Well, you're from
But would you
As
rather...
a diehard Giants fan?
If I could put you in one football player's body for a career, you'd rather be Eli Manning than Aaron Rodgers.
It's all about the championships.
Oh, you're an idiot, Nico.
Also, difference between those bodies. One probably has a Moderna shot in it. The other one doesn't. 855-212-4227. I had to say. Eddie's in New Hampshire. Eddie, hello.
Hey, good morning, you guys.
What's up?
First-time caller, first-time listener to you guys.
What's on your mind?
That was a good talk about Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning, and Tom Brady. You know what the biggest thing Tom Brady that separates the other quarterbacks? When push comes to shove in the huddle, he was able to tell everybody, pucker up your butt, get ready. The S is about to hit the fan right now, guys. You better have dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, because it's about to happen. That's as easy as I could say it.
Eddie, if you weren't there, you wouldn't know the magic. Thank you for that phone call and appreciate that. Can we clip that? I want to go back. I'm not exactly sure what he just said.
Oh, that was pure Boston. I was like, Tom Brady has a Boston accent now. Cool.
He's
from New Hampshire, so
did
New
he
England
say
accent.
pucker up your asses? Is that what he said? Okay. Eddie, you're welcome to call back this show anytime.
My since Pete Bellatti's not here, my finger over the dump button was very quick and ready to go.
I thought that was a
Eddie.
prank caller for about half of it.
No, he was not. I mean, he called twice, and he was clear. Like, I'm not a prank caller. I really have this take on Brady and Ipe's gambling debts. We didn't even get to.
Oh, we never got to Ipe. Sorry.
But so his point about
every prank caller calls and says, "I'm not a prank caller."
That's true.
Brady, his point was got everyone up for big games, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's talking about what you guys are talking about, like him as a teammate and him able to get those guys to play in clutch situations. Rodgers has not done that. I don't know if it's his fault, but that's not happened. It happened once.
I don't know. Did he give a big pep talk to Jordy Nelson before the Super Bowl? I don't know.
I mean, that's one example where his players did really step up.
That's the other thing, too, I'll say about the Eli versus Aaron Rodgers and CJ Stroud saying he'd rather be Eli. I know Eli was the number one overall pick, manipulated his way to New York and not to San Diego, and Rodgers had to sit there in the green room. But there is this thought that Eli overachieved and Aaron Rodgers is underachieved in terms of Super Bowls. Like, how much meat was left on the bone? How many Super Bowls did you leave in Green Bay? You should have had more. Nobody says Eli should have had more. It's like people think it's a freaking miracle that he got 2.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest upsets in Super Bowl history. The biggest
and then
upset.
did it again. And so I think that's a different thing, too, where Eli, it's like he exceeded all these expectations, where Aaron Rodgers, you could argue, been a failure. All the home losses in the playoffs for Green Bay, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, of the 9,000 high-level quarterbacks in this country, there's not a single one who would rather be Eli Manning than Aaron Rodgers. I'm just telling you, that's just a lie. That like every quarterbacks are politicians. He's just saying the right thing. If he really wants to be Eli Manning, then he has a bad taste in football. Because would you rather drop back and zip the ball 40 yards against your body? Like Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of a football we've seen, except for maybe Mahomes and like Elway.
Yeah, listen, I get it. Rodgers is the better quarterback, but I was just saying, who would you rather be?
I think also it changes. If Rodgers had no rings, maybe I could believe this a little bit.
Yeah.
He has a championship.
Yeah, but CJ Stroud wasn't alive for that. Nico definitely wasn't.
But he has a championship already, so it's not like this guy is a loser. Yes, he has had some postseason failures, but he's not James Harden. He got them.
He's not Marino.
No, right, he's not Dan Marino. He won a championship. I think to say I'd just rather have more. I'm sorry, when CJ Stroud is working out in the offseason, he's thinking, what? I want to be the best quarterback in the NFL. In fact, in this interview, what is he doing? He's ranking himself among the best quarterbacks. He's putting himself 3. He's putting himself over guys who already won Super Bowls.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So the other thing I like about CJ Stroud is, again, I like the sports takes, and he was asked to name his top 5 quarterbacks going into this year, right? And he did Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, himself, Dak Prescott, and
Josh Allen was in there. Josh Allen was 4. Dak was 5, and that was the revised list.
Right, so he made a list, he revised the list, he really thought about this.
Hurts was in the first list, but then he removed them.
Right. If he loves Stafford so much, why isn't Stafford? I know statistically Stafford didn't have one of his best years last year, but if you think Stafford is this incredible quarterback that you only watch his highlights, he still plays in the league. You could think he's going to have a great season.
Well, maybe he thinks all 5 of those guys would also have won in that
Nobody
situation.
said Stafford's the only person I watch besides Mahomes. That's the only tape I watch.
You know what I think this is? I was thinking about this when I watched this. This is those young kids saying that Paul George is their GOAT. This is exactly the same thing. It is like, the way he throws the ball and how nice he is, his skills. People don't understand how good he is for his skill set. And I think that's what's happening. Like, none of those kids really think Paul George is the GOAT, but they love his game.
Right. He's a little bit of cult hero.
Right. I think for CJ Stroud, Matt Stafford is his cult hero.
Right. It's a little different.
Stafford also is he's a quarterback's quarterback. There was a tweet from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler saying the NFL and the fans and media are in totally different places on Stafford. Like, the NFL loves Stafford, and the public perception of him is that he's just okay.
Right. Well, more than okay, but.
Well, I just think that he's been underrated. That's why I called him a Hall of Famer way back when. He was in Detroit. Like, that organization was screwed up for the better part of 45 years. So I think that's the big way. Also, the guy throws such a pretty pass. But Aaron Rodgers throws an even prettier pass. And we got to put a poll out there. Who would you rather be? Who would you guys rather be? Eli or Aaron Rodgers? Like, honestly, it's got to be A-Rod.
855-212-4227. All right, so much more to do here. You're always welcome to weigh in. Coming up, we do have the most gifted player. It's an interesting way to put it. Who gets that title? We'll tell you next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Perloff. All right. Very excited for this new segment we are debuting today. What are we calling it, Maggie? It's Caitlin Clark Takes? Just bad Caitlin Clark Takes?
So this is what it's going to sound like.
What's up with Caitlin Clark?
All right. That is something that we came up with like a couple weeks ago. We never got to debut it. And now we're going to slightly change it, and What's Up with Caitlin Clark is going to be the worst Caitlin Clark take that we've heard over the last 24 hours.
This could be hard to narrow down to one this week.
Yeah. So you have a nominee for the worst Caitlin Clark take of the last 24 hours.
Well, okay, let's play. It's not necessarily the
worst,
opinion,
the funniest?
The opinion is not that bad. Just the way he phrased it, he got into trouble. Let's hear it. This is from Fox Sports Radio, former NBA player Olden Polynice.
Well, the NBA was smart enough to incorporate the Jordan rules, to protect the brand. Sure. Caitlin Clark is the brand, whether you want to admit it or not.
So I love Olden, but one thing here.
Maybe we should explain that. Maybe not everybody remembers what the Jordan rules were.
So
or who Olden Polynice is.
Olden is saying
Nico's got nothing.
No way Nico knows.
He's his favorite player.
He is saying that the NBA instituted a set of rules to protect Michael Jordan. When in actuality, not only is that not what happened, it's exactly the opposite. The Jordan rules were a set of rules set up by the bad boy Pistons to slow down Michael Jordan. So basically they got out there and fouled him every time he got onto the court. That's the Jordan rules, which is what they're doing to Caitlin right now. So he's saying, let's institute the Jordan rules. It's the exact opposite of what actually happened.
Oh my gosh. So here's when I first thought of this, I'm like, man, maybe Olden Polynice knows, like, maybe there's a second set of Jordan rules that David Stern put in. Maybe they were actually to protect Michael Jordan, because he did get a lot of star calls after that.
So Sam Smith wrote the book Jordan Rules. I thought Jordan Rules evolved into a new meaning that Olden Polynice, but then I couldn't find anybody. Like, originally it was the Pistons thing, and then they changed it. But no, they did not. So
was Olden Polynice born in 2000? Like Nico and his co-host told him lies about Michael Jordan?
He was drafted in '87. He was there watching the Jordan Rules.
He served them.
He was traded for Scottie Pippen. He's like half the reason the Bulls won this ever.
Good thing they had those Jordan rules. Definitely don't want to apply those to Caitlin. She's already getting mauled out there.
I imagine Olden Polynice thinks the Jordan rules were like Hulk Hogan's rules, Hulk's rules. Each vitamin, say your prayers. Like I think that's what he thought they were.
It reminds me of a funny skit they once did. I think it might have been Jimmy Kimmel or maybe it was Leno. I don't remember. They went out on the street and asked people if they should end women's suffrage. And they're like, we think we should end women's suffrage, which sounds bad, but it's women's right to vote.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The Jordan rules took on a different meaning for Olden Polynice.
Well, yeah.
And that's your, that's not a bad Caitlin Clark take. That's your funny Caitlin Clark take for the last 24 hours.
The opinion is actually an interesting one. Should the WNBA change their emphasis on officiating to help Caitlin Clark? That's a take. I mean, I like that. Just call it the Caitlin Clark rules. That's fine. Just don't call it the Jordan rules.
What does Olden Polynice think?
I need to know.
Honestly, I haven't been interested in anything, and now I'm curious about everything.
I don't remember anything about Olden Polynice's game, but always like that. Those old Supersonics, anything they do, I loved it.
Well, and what an all-time name.
Olden Polynice, I think he was probably on the same team with Xavier McDaniel, another great name.
Are we making Oldens anymore?
I love Sean Kemp so much.
I know he's Haitian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Nico, you remember those 90s Sonics?
Do you remember the Sonics from any time?
What year did the Sonics go over? 11? Or,
so whatever, no. Kevin, the year after Durant got
drafted. Way earlier than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, you got to know, Nico, Sean Kemp, not that great a dunker.
Wow. Gary Payton was a defensive liability.
Bad defensive player, just a turnstile.
This is a new segment we call Lying to Nico.
Yeah, the city hated them. Their coach, George Karl, got along with all his players beautifully.
He was an excellent clutch coach. Excellent.
I like George Karl. Don't be on Team Carmelo and rip George Karl.
And Kenyon Martin and everyone.
J.R. Smith.
Detlef Schrempf was actually from New Jersey. He was
Nick McMillan did not coach in the NBA.
Yeah.
Sam Perkins. I can't say anything bad about Sam Perkins.
He's right-handed.
Yeah, he's a righty.
The best
terrible hair.
The best right-handed.
That's a new segment, making up things to Nico. This could be amazing.
By the way, Olden Polynice, he played for the Pistons.
No.
Yeah, he played for the Pistons. From 92 to 94, so against Jordan in the birthplace of the Jordan rules, and he could not be more wrong about them. He probably had them laminated in his locker.
Honestly, I feel like now we're wrong and he's right. Like, did we forget?
Is it like the Mandela effect?
I'm really afraid right now that somebody changed the meaning of Jordan rules. Like, we might be wrong.
You know what? I think I know what happened. So Chuck Daly left the Pistons the year Olden Polynice joined. Maybe Ron Rothstein got the memo from the NBA, hey, the Jordan rules are different now. Because they went 40 and 42. So the Jordan rules are different. You can't be following him. Now it's you help him up. You don't double team him.
And he gets every call.
And then Olden Polynice walks into the Piston locker room being like, oh, wow.
Why are we being so nice to him?
No wonder he's got 50 on us at halftime.
I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of, it's like, are we remembering this right? Maybe it is the Mandela effect.
Sinbad was not in Shazam. The Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle. All that weird stuff. There's no Jordan rules. It was about being nice to him.
I do kind of sense that maybe the officiating changed on Jordan, like it probably has to for Caitlin Clark. Like, maybe he's on this, like, is the overall truth that Jordan got every call, right?
Yeah, but those weren't the Jordan rules.
Yeah, I know. Well, that'll be interesting when Caitlin Clark gets back on the court. Will she get Olden Pollen and these Jordan rules? You know we're gonna
set of Jordan rules.
You know that she's gonna get a cheap call. We'll be like, "Yep, there's the Jordan rules once again."
They're back.
What is it? Chuck Daly's Jordan rules or Rothstein's Jordan rules?
Ron Rothstein, long-time assistant.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, there we go. So that's our two new segments we're debuting. The funny Caitlin Clark take of the day, and also lying to Nico about sports that happened in the 90s because he wasn't alive. Bogusch is here with headline time.
Maggie, while you follow your Freedom of Information Act request for Ipe Mizuhara's DMs, let me introduce you to Bruce Pham. He was arrested at JFK with a one-way ticket to Australia, and now he is charged in connection with the betting scandal that got Jontay Porter a lifetime ban from the NBA. Law enforcement says Porter racked up big-time debt with Pham and multiple co-conspirators. They then suggested Porter do some things to forgive that debt, and that's how we got Porter faking tummy aches so he could leave games affecting prop bets on his stats, which those co-conspirators were cashing in on.
Yeah, and now he's going to go to jail. And there's a couple real missteps that this brilliant co-conspirator with Jontay Porter did. Number one, it's not a bad idea to pull this off the first time with the prop bets, right? So Jontay Porter owes him a lot of money for gambling debts. So you do this for one game, and he takes himself out with the eye, and the guy won $10,000 off it, right? To do it again.
Yeah.
You've got to be the dumbest person on earth. And then secondly, if you're buying that one-way ticket to Australia, man, you can't wait till the day after Porter gets indicted.
He should have been gone.
You should have been so gone. Why are you waiting till the last minute for the one-way ticket to Australia? Also, they have extradition there. You got to go to a place where they don't have extradition. And this dude sucks.
Didn't he have $20,000 in cash on him?
Yes, he did.
Buy a round trip ticket everywhere. The red flag is one way. At least you're not going to use it, but buy it so there's no other alarms going off. Why is this guy only going one way to Croatia?
Oh, he also had betting slips in his bag. Dude, was there literally not a smoking gun that you could have also had in your
carrying a roulette wheel?
Yeah, he's playing dice in the bathroom in the JFK terminal. Stupid. Anyway.
And then there is Tucupita Marcano, the Padres utility man, officially banned for life yesterday for betting on games. MLB says Marcano wagered roughly $87,000 on those big league games, including 25 parlays involving the Pirates, whose roster he was on last season. The league says Marcano did not influence any games, mostly because he was mostly on the IL a year ago with a knee injury. And much like Jontay Porter, MLB seemed to delight in telling us that Marcano was a bad gambler on top of just gambling in the first place.
Yeah, that 4% of his bets were winners.
And lost all of the parlays involving the Pirates, so he knows nothing about his teammates.
There's a part of me that, I don't want to see any more gambling, but I kind of want to see somebody who actually is good at this.
Yeah, I get it.
Using this information of being, I don't know, in a MLB locker room to win some money, or Jontay, why are these guys all so terrible?
You're so right. Oh my God!
Ipe is the worst. He didn't even bet on baseball, if you believe that, when he had access to that information more than anything. Sure.
We need a flat-out, simple betting scandal. Can there be the one without 7 layers of weirdness around it, please?
Well, the Porter one. I mean, this is the reason why we didn't want them betting in the first place. Wasn't this? This was the fear, right? That somebody was going to owe somebody money, and the way to get out of it was to throw a game. This is worst case scenario, and here it is.
He wasn't good enough to throw a game, but to throw his own props, right?
Nobody's making a movie about the 14th guy on the bench faking a back injury so he doesn't hit his 1.5 points prop. I need Shoeless Jones running the World Series, Bogusch.
If they made a movie about Moneyball, they can definitely make a movie about this.
This is not good. This is just give us a guy threw a game because he had a bet on it. Like a guy I've heard of.
I don't know. The next Sandler movie could have you being the A's reliever that bet $99 on 10 games, got a 1-year suspension. You could do that part.
Yeah. I can see you.
That's a movie?
Yeah.
How about if Hubie Hancock Halloween's a movie, this is a movie.
How about Joe Flacco throws a pick in a playoff game on purpose?
Back-to-back pick sixes?
Yeah, this is like Jontay Porter. I think we're stretching here. Yeah. I agree with EJ. Like, we need something simple.
This guy's going to jail because he tried to get on a one-way ticket to Australia with all this money in his bag. Like, are you not entertained? This is amazing.
No, I need somebody. Jontay Porter, if his brother was a Michael Porter, I wouldn't even believe he was a real player.
Can you imagine them cooking this up and him figuring out what kind of malady, like what kind of injury am I going to come up with to take myself out of the second game, and he comes up with diarrhea? This is amazing. You can't even make it up. It's too good.
Okay, Maggie, if these stories are so good, tell me the name of that guy who got banned for life from MLB again.
Tucupita.
Sound like Paul O'Neill.
I can't believe you tried. You went Tucupita.
Tucupita Marcano. It's right here on the sheet.
That's actually the best news for him, is people are afraid to say his name. Like watching TV yesterday, people did
like
everything they
Voldemort.
could to not say his name. They just used Marcano. They relied on the graphic on TV. Like, if his name was Maggie Gray, I think there'd be more heat on him for all of this.
My gambling debts are my business and nobody else's. I'm going to throw the show. But anyway, I like all this stuff. I want movies on all of them. I want the Jontay Porter movie. I want the Ipe movie. I definitely want the Ipe.
You want an Ipe doc. You don't want a movie. You need the
I'll take
documentary.
You want a movie on Jontay Porter. Oh,
Yes.
my God.
I'll take the whole Porter family. They are got a lot going on.
That's your 30 for 30 pitches? Oh, my God.
You don't want Ipe? A little more Shohei's
my
ex-translator? You don't want any more of that? You're okay. Case closed. You don't want to know any more. You don't think there's other salacious details in here to come out? He's betting on UCLA soccer. How did he get there?
I guess so. There's just something that's always been lacking in this story.
How did Shohei not know? He must be so oblivious.
I don't know. I think EJ's original point was a good one. Like, couldn't we just have a simple Shoeless Joe throws a World Series gambling story? Can't it ever make sense?
Well, if Shoeless Joe is making $200 million over 5 years, I don't know if he's throwing that World Series. It's a little different these days.
Yeah.
All these baseball players are so ungodly rich. That's why the
marginal
lower
guy.
guys.
Yeah, I know. I think you need a big name to sell this movie to Netflix, Maggie. I don't think you're going to get there with the Jontay Porters and that other guy.
Yeah. What's his name?
That's a tough one.
Tsitsipas.
Tennis, definitely rife. They already have their own
they already
scandals.
prove it. Oh, Buddy had a hot tennis take the other day. Djokovic knew he was going to lose his next match, so he faked a knee injury. Just want to throw that out there. Tennis is totally
Is that on your women's softball text thread?
Yeah.
Also
you
tennis?
Guys, whatever. You guys are out of the mainstream. Guys. Women's softball is the it thing right now. It's on right. There's 4 games on right now.
9:30 in the morning.
UCLA is playing Tennessee somewhere on a TV.
Oklahoma softball is always being played 24 hours a day.
Oh my God.
It doesn't even count. They're just playing.
That is the truth.
Why is it always Oklahoma?
What?
Why is it always Oklahoma?
It's always Oklahoma.
Guys, they're going for a 4-peat.
Yeah.
They did lose, but they're amazing. Their coach is getting a statue.
And I'm saying, though, just like UConn was great, I saw other teams playing. Like, it's always Oklahoma when I turn on the TV. It's like they could be playing, and it's Big 12, non-Big 12. I don't know why. When it's a softball game, it is always OU. It's incredible.
But,
shout out to them. I didn't know they were that great.
Texas, right, is always on. And
Texas is
UCLA,
always on, too.
I don't know. I always see UCLA. I don't know how good they are. Get on our text thread, Maggie.
That's
You're
because
in.
Tom Brady's niece is on the UCLA team. Maya Brady.
Oh, yes.
She's popular enough that she has a line of those sliding gloves that there's like the most popular thing in youth sports now, and she's got her own brand.
Oh, the oven mitts?
Yeah.
How much do those run you?
I mean, it depends. The one that the company that she works with is Aria, and they're like $80-$90.
Good grief.
And there's, I mean, not that anything is ever worth that, but they are certainly not worth $80, but they are damn cool, and every single kid on the planet wants one.
Man, I just would love to put an actual oven mitt on my kid and just tape it up with duct tape. That'd be pretty janky, though.
Wait, just day to day? You're not talking about sliding?
He's 4.
Yeah,
he falls a lot.
Walk around with them on.
The eligible Padres, by the way, lost in Anaheim last night 4-2. The Angels will win a home series for the first time this season. They are now 9-21, overall at the Big A. The White Sox are bad no matter where they play. Last night at Wrigley, they led the Cubs 5-0 and 6-5 and still didn't win.
And he hits a drive to right field. On the run, Sheets. It gets past him. It goes up against the wall. Bellinger scores. Here comes Morel to the plate. The relay, the slide. He scores. Cubs lead. Cubs lead, a 2-run double for Ian Happ.
That's Pat Hughes on Cubs Radio. The Cubs winning 7-6, extending the White Sox losing streak to 12. Angel Reese said something, then waved off ref Charles Watson, so he gave her 2 techs and 1 ejection. This happened in the fourth quarter as the Sky were losing to the Liberty 88-75. The Connecticut Sun, meanwhile, the 7th team to start 9-0 after a 76-59 home win over the Mystics, who are 0-9. The worst start in team history. Much like Luka Doncic, Novak Djokovic going all out to keep up the fake injury thing. He's expected to have surgery today in Paris to repair the right meniscus he apparently didn't tear earlier this week while winning his 4th-round match at the French Open. He withdrew from the event yesterday, and now he's in doubt for Wimbledon, the Olympics, and the U.S. Open, again, just to make us think he's actually
Well, my
hurt.
friend Brian said, I think he's faking this because he was about to lose to, I think he plays Rudd next. And I'm like, he's missing the next 2 majors. He's going in deep on this fake.
And getting the surgery.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Well, again, we're not going to be in the OR, Maggie, so is he really going to have the surgery?
Is Djokovic above that, though, to fake it? And I mean, like, you got to sell the fake.
Really just wheel you into the operating room, hang out for an hour, and then walk out.
Yeah, that's not a deep cut. It's a superficial wound, so it looks bad.
I got to be honest. Like, I'm not really a Djokovic fan one way or the other, but I'm a little disappointed. Like, him chasing history is kind of an element to this. I mean, a lot of people don't like him, but do you guys feel it's like
Oh, the vaccine stuff?
No. I mean, because like Nadal and Federer were like the nice guys, and Djokovic is like whatever. But
yeah, I mean, when he started, he was very, very much disliked, and he used to fake injuries before losing. But he has fixed that for the most part.
Oh, I
that
thought
reputation.
it was common tennis perception that Djokovic was the non-likable one out of the big 3.
I say the least likable of the 3. He's definitely fixed. At the beginning, he was like a villain. Like people straight did not like him. Then he just kept winning, and it got impossible to really be against him.
Well, also
like
he has like
strongly.
a kind of sort of a cheeky sense of humor too that I think he started to win people over with. But
then COVID happened, and COVID brought back some old feelings.
I think there was for a while where just like Federer. It was just, he could do no wrong. Everyone just loved Federer so much.
And Nadal has 100% approval. Who doesn't like Nadal? What's not to like? But that being said, like I like seeing Djokovic compete. Like this is kind of annoying that he's going to miss all this now.
And if he's faking, I mean, shame on him.
Yeah, I mean.
Honestly, to get the surgery, real commitment. Maybe it's a different Djokovic or they're wheeling a body.
Well,
it's another Tua.
You know what, Brian?
Yeah, the other Tua who's posing as Tua Tagovailoa right now.
Brian did counter. He said, well, what are you talking about? Meniscus surgery. Guys are back in 3 weeks. Like, he's right about that. Like, why are you missing Embiid was back in a month.
Honestly, should we just be doing the show with Brian? Who is this guy?
Yeah,
He's
Brian.
got
That's
all
my
the
point.
opinions.
That's
Maggie
my point.
and Perloff and Brian on Infinity Sports Network.
Sometimes Brian.
Guys, when Brian talks tennis, you better listen.
I was going to say, I can't even think of like, what is he, Brian, a Brian brother? I don't even, there's no tennis player I know named Brian.
Brian McEnroe, the third brother around.
I like just randomly like, well, Todd thinks the Lakers are not going to win next year. Just throwing names, random
Honestly,
names
if
out.
we're talking about Perloff's friends, Bruce is really the person whose opinion Bruce has a glass eye that he once popped out.
Former friends.
Well, once he once lost during coitus.
Yeah, if Bruce knew we talked about him, he would not be my friend. I mean,
I'm so happy I know that story now.
Yeah, it's actually a law. One of the Maggie and Perloff rules is that anytime there's someone new on the show, like Nico, we have to explain who Bruce is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to be a long conversation for Nico.
I gave you the Cliff Notes. Glass eye, lost it during sex. Yep.
Found it, though.
Did find it.
Important detail.
All you need to know.
Found it quickly, right?
Yes, very quickly.
Anyone noticing?
I gotta tell you,
Anyone like with the peanut gallery?
I think that was the first time they were together too, so that would be a bad. We never talked about like
oh my
the
god
repercussion
What was
of
that?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
What was what?
It started out having
Something
sex
fall
with a
on my
guy with
leg.
2 eyes and ended with a guy with one.
It'd be the greatest compliment for any woman ever.
It's a good
like,
resume.
Guys, I think I'm really good at this.
I
We started
blew-
he had 2 eyes, and he only had one.
Is that a cue ball? What's that?
Started with a normal guy, ended up with the Terminator. You got to take Nico. Take this out of the podcast. This cannot get back to
There
him.
is some kind of something your brain's out in this there that I'm not going to say. All right, we got to go to break. That joke is too old for someone like Nico. Coming up, lots more to do, including big show news. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Yep, this is the show news today as we're about to say farewell to EJ. He's going across the pond to, I don't know why you're doing this, go watch the Mets.
Farewell, not like farewell for good.
No,
farewell for a
no,
week.
no.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll be back in a week or
Just,
so.
and this is the first time you're going to London, right?
First time going to London. First time in Europe. First time out of the country.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've never been out of the country. I've been out of the continental U.S., but not out of the U.S.
Okay. Well, we wish you fare thee well. You'll be back in a week or so. And, don't forget to bring us something.
I'm about to say, is there something that you guys are looking for? And it's not going to be London. There will be some other stops in Europe as well. Is there anything particular you guys are looking for me to bring back?
One of the crown jewels is mine.
Okay, crown jewels. I can
write that down.
There's some really gross foods in England and France. There may be something we can put into the tuna lime jello mold for Maggie in the bet.
I like that.
I think that's going to make it all the way back in EJ's carry-on?
Like, they eat some disgusting things over there, like
escargot
brains and things.
Yeah. I mean, I think escargot is supposed to be good, but I don't know if I'm going to
It's
try
called
it.
sweetbreads, right? That's a big thing in Europe.
Yes.
So, like sheep's brains. Nice.
All right. We're all counting on you. No, you're going to have a great time and enjoy it and have fun, and we'll have fun for you while you're gone.
Did you watch any movies to get ready, like Notting Hill or anything? Or
No.
All your James Bonds.
Yeah. Are you ready for English culture or soccer and all that stuff?
The closest thing I have in getting ready for English culture is watching X-Men, hearing Charles Xavier's British accent. That's
There
all
you
I
go.
got.
Yeah.
You're going to have to defer to Perloff on that.
That sounds so fun.
Patrick Stewart.
I mean, I think we all agree, we heard about this trip. Everybody agreed the only downside was seeing the Mets.
Yeah,
Other than that.
Honestly, I'd just skip the game if I were you. If you got something else, go to the Tate, something else, anything else. London Bridge, Tower of London.
I found out that
Westminster Abbey.
I found out that one of the other people that work here in the company on the floor, Fleegs, is going to be in London as well, and he is a huge Mets fan. He is not going to the game, so he is clearly
Are you kidding me?
Clearly smarter than me.
He's going to London and he's not going to the Mets game.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, he thought. I mean, look, I planned this trip last year before I even knew I'd be on this show. It's been awesome to be on this show. So I saw the Mets were playing, and my girlfriend's like, I want to get to London. You got to go. So I'm like, all right. It seems like we both agree on something. So let's make it happen. Then I think the Mets would be 11, 12 games under. They've given up eight games they've lost where they've had the lead going into the ninth inning.
Hey, they're only 9 games under now.
9, okay, we got a little better.
How does the ball carry in London? Have they ever played that?
They juice those balls ridiculously. I'm expecting a 15 to 12 game.
Oh, is there a lot? The fog lifts the balls, I don't know. Have they ever played there? I actually don't even know this.
Your Phillies played there
in London.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah,
played in Atlanta, right? Was it Pittsburgh?
I don't remember. This is the third year, I think. Oh. The Yankees went once.
Awesome. Yankees played the Red Sox there.
Have fun, dude.
We wish you a great trip, a safe trip, and we will hold it down while EJ's across the pond. All right. Thank you so much, EJ. Nico, thank you. Great job. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, Guido's Coffee Drinkers. You guys are awesome. We're back tomorrow. Don't miss it. Maggie Perloff.